that bourbon and them other shiny things. The smoke hangs heavy around the room, the glasses start to clink. My trouble's drifting down the drain. I try my best not to think. Just the sound of my good buddies laughing at the joke. The stories flowing from our lips beneath the bourbon smoke. Yeah, the Thursday night blues are calling my name. Pour another glass, put out the work week's flame. Got the boys on the TV screen talking about that bourbon and them other shiny things. Some folks chase the money, some chase a different kind of thrill. But all I want on a Thursday night is to let this old heart be still. Just a little bit of amber liquid and a few good souls to share. Knowing come tomorrow morning we'll still be standing there. Yeah, the Thursday night blues are calling my name. Pour another glass, put out the work week's flame. Got the boys on the TV screen talking about that bourbon and them other shiny things. Yeah, Bourbon and Ballz, pouring out that bourbon till the bottle's gone. And the Friday sun rises. That's a Thursday night blue. I'm drinking with my friends. Yeah, we know it's early, but we can't wait for the weekend. We're in a hurry, cause we're thirsty again, but we're not worried when we're saying what we mean and what we meant. Honest camaraderie is something like the lottery. So all I ask and all I need are years of making memories. So keep on chasing highs, it's so damn easy, don't think twice.
Yeah,
that's funny and gross at the same time. You know that montage video we did? There's Ashley sucking on it raw dad.
You just wish it was you. You just wish it was you.
What?
All right, so we just got canceled.
No, what the hell?
That's your no.
Dude.
No, that is not what I meant. That is not.
Oh my God. That's Weller. Knows that. Good God. Man, he just something died. Holy,
That's bad. What did they feed him today, dude? I thought you. Oh,
good. You can't even breathe here. Oh, it's gonna throw a nosing off. Oh my God, I can't even.
I can reach out. That could be one of our things we do. You know, we're talking about doing these commercials or these ads or these videos for these different products. I can reach out to a manufacturer that makes it today, get one, and you do the video. And sit there and go, oh. I'm riding the bike and going,
With the glitter in my hand. I'm starting to become immune to press. This doesn't even bother me anymore.
That's right.
Oh.
I'm like, that smells pretty good.
Yeah, we know it's early, but we can't wait for the weekend. Let's get on with the show with you all, with our friends from Bourbon and Ballz. Enjoy the show and have a great weekend. Hey! Keep on chasing highs.
there's shit everywhere.
Jake. Hey. All right, Jay, congratulations to the pregame winner. Thanks everybody for joining us, and thanks for everybody for getting in their seats early because we have a star-studded night tonight. We've been excited about this for I don't know how many weeks. Yeah, and man, a lot of these people none of them really need any kind of introduction. And, as far as like chat goes, and I apologize, you know how much we love saying hello to everybody in chat. We're going to have to say hello to everybody now. We're going to get straight into tonight's event as far as what we all came for. And so I hope you guys can forgive us on not saying hello because that'll be another 20 minutes and I don't want to keep our guests waiting. So let's see if this works. We didn't even pregame this thing. So let's see in Bourbon and Ballz style fashion. Let's see if this works.
Check make sure you got the audio set there, Tyler, on the computer. That's focus right.
Oh,
Something.
no, we don't. Audio's not even. Nope, to the left. There you go. Nope. Sorry. All right.
There we go.
All right,
That better. There we go.
Tyler, let's bring everybody on. You're going to choose. Yep. There you go. You're going to choose that one. Let's bring everybody on and get everybody in here. See if this actually works.
Stars of the show. Here we
I
go.
don't think we've done this. Oh, nice. We got
There we
everybody.
go.
Hey.
This worked the first time. Sweet. Guys, we are super excited. We're definitely going to go around the room. Man, just looking at that lineup right there, I've never seen minus one at the very bottom, but I've never seen such looking people online. So I appreciate you guys coming on to Bourbon and Ballz.
Yes.
Everybody, welcome.
Welcome.
Coming on.
Thank you.
Howdy.
So let's I think everybody sees the same way that we do. And we definitely got some questions coming on. Tyler, who is our producer now, he'll control the questions. And as always, in chat, you guys have questions for these lovely people. Please put Q on it so Tyler can easily find it. But let's first go around the room, starting with Whitney. We'll go left to right. Whitney, Mark, Maggie, Bill, Lisa, and then Marlene. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves to our viewers as far as what part of the bourbon industry you guys partake in?
All right.
Whitney,
Well, I'm Whitney Spence from Coal Pick Distillery. I'm the facility manager and master distiller. Have been since 2017 when we started the distillery. We're in Western Kentucky, and we're just a small craft distillery.
I'm Mark Gillespie, and I host Whiskey Cast. Been doing it for about 21 years now.
I'm Maggie Kimberl. They just invited me in from the street, and I'm Lisa. An American Whiskey Magazine and World Whiskeys and Icons of Whiskey and yada yada.
all right, very good.
All right,
Bill?
good. I'm Bill McBrayer. I'm the founder of McBrayer Legacy Spirits. I've been resurrecting our family bourbon brands that are from Kentucky.
Hey, you guys, it's good to see you again. I'm Lisa Wicker. I am director of distilling at Whiskey Thief after, I'm closing in on a year now there. And in 2 weeks, it'll be a year. But yeah, I've had a up and down career, and here I am.
And
Marlene?
she was having some issues, I think.
Oh
Yeah,
no.
Okay, so you might have to refresh and whatnot. Real quick though, we'll get into the question. So Lisa, it's been about a year then, exactly, because you were just hired at Whiskey Thief when you first came on, right?
Yes. Yeah. It was the first week of June. I was actually part-time. I still had some other clients I needed to close out. So I was part-time from June 1st until October 1st, but then full-time since October 1st.
Wow.
Okay, very good.
Year goes by quick. Doesn't it?
Yeah, no kidding.
Uh,
Marlene, I think you might be with us. If you are on deck as far as let everybody know there as far as what part of the whiskey world that you play a part in.
It won't let me unmute her.
I think she's having some technical
Oh,
issues.
done. Okay, so we'll see what she can do about her Wi-Fi.
Oh,
I think
maybe.
she might be-
I
There she
think we
is.
got her.
Maybe she's
Maybe.
gone. Man, I tell you what, Wi-Fi, you would think this day and age, we've all been there.
I will go ahead and say that Marlene last year was the first woman master distiller to be inducted into the Icons of Whiskey Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Yes. Yep. Congratulations, Marlene.
Actually, yeah.
We'll speak on your behalf, Marlene. That's what we'll do.
We're getting a distillery tour while we're watching.
Yeah.
Yes.
Behind the
She
scenes.
might be moving to a better spot, maybe.
Okay, all right, very good. We'll get her settled in. I think she might find herself in a better place here. And so, real quick, while Marlene has that going on, Tyler, we'll go ahead and start into the questions, and then Marlene can kind of jump in when she can. Once you start with the opening question there.
Yeah, so just first off, thank you everyone for being here tonight. To kick things off, bourbon has evolved from a regional passion into a worldwide conversation, from the still house to podcasts, magazines, YouTube, and social media. From each of your perspectives, what do you believe has had the biggest impact on bourbon culture over the last 5 years?
And then we'll kind of do the same way we did before as far as introduction. So Whitney, sorry, buddy, you're up first.
Yeah, that's all right. I'll take it. If I had to say what I feel like has changed the most in the last 5 years would be just the fact that a lot of craft distilleries have come about, and in the craft world, everybody works well together. Obviously, Lisa Wicker and those folks can tell you it's not as much as a competition as most people would think it is in this industry when you're at a level that we're at. So being able to do that and having more distilleries where people are actually willing to work together, help, share ideas, and it's just I feel like that's something that's really grown the industry in the last 5 years that's helped people that make 1 barrel a day to people that make 500 barrels a day across the board. It's just something that I feel like has really helped the industry.
Sure. Mark?
Well, I think we've actually sort of peaked at peak bourbon. I'll be the contrarian here. I think we've actually reached our peak in terms of the bourbon brotherhood, and younger folks are not drinking bourbon as much, as my dog barks throughout this. Younger people are not drinking as much. They're picking THC beverages and cannabis and other stuff and health drinks and living this healthier lifestyle that doesn't include bourbon. And I think we're actually in trouble.
Interesting.
Well, on that somber note, Maggie, what you got?
No, I mean that's
Well, you know what? I can't.
I think
but
it's to Mark's point. I think that is more of an economically driven factor. I don't think that young people are necessarily choosing healthier lives and lifestyles. I think that they're all broke. I think the data bears that out. But what I would say, has been so great over the last 5 years is consumers are really engaged. We see a lot of so much tourism, especially in Kentucky. Tourism in Kentucky is through the roof. But then even when you go outside of Kentucky, there are places like Hard Truth and Indiana that have this like entire, they've got side-by-side tours and a tiki island and an amphitheater and all kinds of stuff like that. And so, there are a lot of the smaller distilleries that are finding different ways to engage people, not necessarily, come do a factory tour. Okay, come do a factory tour again. It's like this band's playing this weekend and you can come to a cocktail class next weekend. And, they do like barbecue competitions and things like that. So I think that there's been a lot of creativity when it comes to engaging tourism and engaging even the surrounding community.
Yeah, good. To me, I think over the last 5 years, you went through this big boom and the number of podcasts, the number of bourbon groups, I think they all grew and they all became, more informed about what's out there and sharing things. To me, even being new to the industry, learning from some of the podcasts and things about what's going on, I think that's been a big factor in the industry, and I think some of those are starting to shut down, but the good ones are staying, and I don't think they're going anywhere anytime soon.
I think Maggie took part of my answer.
I just
my house is on Main Street in Bardstown behind the courthouse, and right now I can just look up and I can see tourists like walking by. We have been packed like it's fall all spring. It's been crazy, but it's so interesting. This, everything's cyclical, right? And so we're on this cycle again. We survived Prohibition. We survived World War II. We survived the 70s. And it wasn't pretty, right? It wasn't pretty through all of those years. And there's all those crazy stories from everything from trying to, the big distilleries trying to fish farm to whatever they needed to do, drive trucks, the distillers, or whatever they needed to do to survive. And, we might be in a little bit of that cycle right now, and it's not, like I said, it's not pretty. It's not, it's uncomfortable, especially when your friends are, struggling and you've been through the struggle, right? I thought I was going to be a victim of the downturn, right? And, so I think it's a time, but the people that are really dedicated are in it because we love whiskey, and that's never going to go away. Money follows good whiskey, and that trend I think will just continue. And I think we're going to, we'll cycle back. I don't know if it'd be in my lifetime or not, but I'm still feeling really optimistic. And even the people that are, pretty close to me and in the industry as well, it's taking hard hits right now, but everybody's optimistic about it recovering at some point. It may not be the weird, but that was that weird bubble was all because of a disease, right? So
right.
It's more correcting itself, so to speak. Yeah.
Tyler, what we got?
All right. So for the first viewer question we have from Chris Barlow, how can consumers from outside areas you distribute or find products you favor gain more insights to hidden gems in distilleries?
Whitney, what you got?
I would say the biggest thing for that is to obviously go to the podcasters and see, because they're obviously, just like you guys, the SLB drink guys, they're always looking for, the new guys that are out there that are up and coming, and just kind of following that trend with those guys, and looking for. I encourage people all the time, when you go to a liquor store, look for something that you've never seen before. And maybe it's made by them, maybe it's not, but look into that story and see where that come from. The big guys are always going to be there. They've got endless pockets they're never going away. But look for those guys that you've never heard of. Go to, different liquor stores. Don't just go to the same one you go to every day. Maybe you go on vacation somewhere and go in and look for something different. I picked up one the other day that I've never tried before, and it was called Peg Leg Porker. And the only reason,
Nice.
the only reason I bought it is because it sounded cool. Go and do that. And, yes, I understand people's money's tight every once in a while, but just step out on that limb every once in a while and buy something different. And that obviously that helps support the little guys that's out there. But it also gets you engaged in something other than the people that have enough money that are going to just blast it across social media and across their advertising platforms and things of that nature. So to look for that and do your research on it, and just, see where it come from. And you may find it come from another distillery that, a larger one or whatever the case may be. But I just encourage people to kind of step outside of your norm every once in a while and find that different product that's out there and just learn from that. And then the next time go to another one and you go from there. So
Very good.
Whitney took my answer.
Yeah.
I think one of the best places to look for new products, sealbox.com has some really interesting stuff. I have what I'm drinking tonight is from Tamworth in New Hampshire. You can only get it in New Hampshire unless you're me or unless you order from Sealbox. So I think that's been a lifeline for a lot of the smaller distilleries because people can get things shipped to them, that aren't available in their state. So that's a great place to browse around and check it out.
Sure.
Which variation is it, Whitney? I'm sorry, Maggie.
Well, I'm sorry.
Which variation is it from Tamworth?
Oh, let's see. This is the 92 proof VSOP apple brandy barrel finished. Let's see. I don't know if it has like a batch number or anything like that, but it is quite tasty.
So it's not one of their exotic ones like the beaver butt crack juice finished.
No. That's exactly how I heard about them, because their PR person was like, "Hey, do you want to try this blue crab and venison whiskey?" And I was like, "No, thank you very much." Do they have any whiskey flavored whiskey? And she sent me their Chakura rye, and it's one of my favorite ryes. So when they released this American single malt, they contacted me. They were like, "Hey, we want to see what you think about this." And they sent it to me. And I was like, "You guys hit the nail on the head with this. It's amazing." And, every time I talk to them, I'm like, "Please stop making that crazy shit." Excellent whiskey.
If you want to learn about new whiskeys and what's out there, I would say listen to Whiskey Cask every Monday on your way to work. I think you should pick up American Whiskey Magazine every month and read it, and come to Kentucky and go to the festivals or go to your local festivals, and hopefully there are brands there that are local brands that are part of your community, and hopefully some of the craft brands that are from the different regions. But I think the first two things you need to do is, I like Whitney's answer too: buy more bourbon, listen to Whiskey Cask, and read the magazines.
What do you got, Lisa?
Well, first come see us, right? Because you're gonna, there's so much good whiskey being made all over the U.S., but Kentucky's still Napa Valley, right? And it's interesting. I've been out and about just a little bit more in Bardstown recently than I have been for a while, and everything from every single bar, there's still some amazing whiskey conversations going on, and there's discoveries to be made. You're talking to the guys, sometimes they're the owners and the bartender, right? And a couple places here. We've got an amazing liquor store here that, the half price pours on Wednesday night, and it's always busy. It doesn't even matter if it's not, the high season. But so much information is getting exchanged, right? It's like, have you tried this? Have you tried that? And what Maggie was saying too, right now, it's, people are not the cash flow for people isn't quite what it was. And so, it's a good way to experiment too and see if you want to bring a whole bottle of whatever, home. And I know other whiskey bars are doing that across the country as well. But having those conversations, I think is number one. It's fun, right? And the discovery, there's also so much whiskey out there. None of us, when I first met Mark and Maggie, I think it was within the same year that I met the two of them. And gosh, it's been, Mark, I think it's been years ago, right? And 14, 15, anyway, 15 maybe. And, there was a set number of whiskeys. The craft distilleries were coming on, right? And starting to push the big guys into, more SKUs, right? They didn't have all the SKUs that they have now. And all of a sudden, it kind of mimicked what was happening in craft beer, where the big guys didn't pay any attention until craft beer had 11% market share. And all of a sudden they all sat up straight in their chairs. So wait a minute, what's going on here? And the next thing you know, they're acquiring craft breweries, right? And trying some of the crazy, funky stuff that the craft breweries were doing just on a larger scale. And so the same thing happened, with whiskey too. And you just, like I said, you literally can't stay on top of it anymore, but it's exciting and fun. And, like I said, I see that subcategory of that continuing. There's just too much enthusiasm about it, right? And the tourism too, right? People return over and over again, and it doesn't matter whether it's the Tennessee Whiskey Trail. It doesn't matter if they're going back to we did everything in New York, and then we decided we're going to do everything in Ohio, right? So this is a never-ending hobby for lots of folks, which I'm so grateful for. Right?
Absolutely.
I'd also say the online market has really changed a lot for the distillery world. The DC Lupo that everybody talks about is a huge thing for especially smaller distilleries that can do that. So that's an advantage for people that maybe they can't. Maybe you're not distributed in that state or whatever. Some states are control states, and it becomes a headache, and you fight some battles there. But the online platform is working to some degree, I feel like, in the advantage of people. Some of it's got to do with some shipping rates and things of that nature, but there is that advantage that's coming on, and not just direct to consumer from the distillery to your house, but from an online platform standpoint, like the Sealbach and those kind of places, to be able to get stuff shipped to you. So that is helping the industry. We'll just see where it goes from there. But.
So real quick, I would like to do a shameless plug for all you all. When we introduced you all, which was awesome, for those who are tuning in now as well. Real quick, give everybody, as far as your guys' location, as far as how they can find you, whether it's a distillery, whether it's media, however they can find you. If you could do a quick plug real quick, if you don't mind.
For us, we're on Facebook, Copic Distillery. We got a website, copicdistillery.com. We're not currently open for tours and tastings right now, but we're hoping by the end of the year we'll have our visitor center open for tours and tastings and stuff. So, but copicdistillery.com, and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, all the social platforms.
And you are Kentucky, correct?
And we are in Western Kentucky, Muhlenberg County, the home of John Prine.
Nice.
Rest in peace, John.
That's it.
Yes.
I'm based in New Jersey, but you can find us anywhere online at WhiskeyCast, no E in the whiskey. We're at whiskeycast.com and on all the major socials. And anywhere you get your podcasts.
And you cover a variety of distilleries and topics, just not in the U.S. You go worldwide.
We go worldwide. As a matter of fact, Whitney was just mentioning buying peg leg porker the other day. We just had Carrie Bringle on, the whiskey maker for peg leg porker, on this week's show.
Nice.
The oldest podcast, right, on whiskey?
The oldest one, yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
First and oldest.
And the best one.
Yes.
Hey, wait a minute.
It's going to cost me a bundle to keep you guys.
Can you really ever beat the original, right? Come on, the original.
You can find me everywhere online at LouGirl502, LouGirl502.com. And I'm at American Whiskey Magazine, if you want to see my work that's in print. I've had some stories in Distiller Magazine, Artisan Spirit Magazine. I do a monthly digest for Alcohol Professor, and so on and so forth.
We are McRae Legacy Spirits. You can buy our products on our website that can ship to most states. You can also pick it up locally. We distribute in Kentucky and now just recently Tennessee. We're also on Facebook and Instagram, and the contact me comes directly to me. So if you ever need to speak to me or you have questions, just reach out to me and I'll do my best to get back to you.
So Whiskey Thief Distilling Company, we are on all of the normal social platforms. We are very tourism driven. We are, crazy busy all the time. We have a location in Frankfurt, our farm in Frankfurt, and then we have a downtown Louisville, Nulu actually, tasting room. We're known for live music. We do lots of live music at both the farm and downtown. But I just really would love for people to come see us and see what it is that we do. We are, doing some serious distilling too. I've got a distilling team with 3 really standalone distillers on it, so it's fantastic. So we can reach all of us at, you can find us at whiskeythiefdistilling.com. You can contact me at Lisa at Whiskey Thief, at, oh my gosh, whiskeythief.com. I think that's it. And LB Wicker on Instagram is my personal account, but you have to dig through some fish pictures to get to the whiskey stuff. So.
And then one more shameless plug for our own self. Tonight's guys super chat $5. We'll give you a bottle choice of either a Whiskey Thief bottle, which we have here. We have also the newly released coming up Judge 250. I gotta quit calling it Judge 250, but 1776 250 anniversary. Also a 1-year subscription to American Whiskey Magazine. You guys can get that. Mark, I couldn't figure out a price for you, buddy. So we're just gonna, I don't know if I had a sticker or something. I don't know.
We don't have any merch.
You should raffle off like a lunch date with Mark Gillespie or something.
Oh my God.
I'll tell you what I'll raffle off. I'll raffle off half a dozen Glencairns.
There you go. Okay. Oh, all right. Yeah. Appreciate that. And then Whitney, of course, we're going to give away a bottle of their cold pick as far as your choice as well. So I just want to do those plugs real quick, and then we can go back to the questions. Sorry about that. Tyler, go ahead.
No problem. From Harold McAdory, do you think small craft distilleries should be exempt from the 3-tier system?
Ooh, somebody has to throw the government in here and all this. Yes, to some degree. I do believe that it should be. I at least believe it should be modified because it's set up as from a small craft distillery. It's set up as a monopoly, basically against us. It ties your hands to a lot of things. Not that there is not some good distributors out there and some good folks that work with distributors, because their sales folks they're out there pushing your product and there is some help out there. Obviously in the today's world with RNDC and the Reyes buyout and all the things that are going on, that hinders small craft distilleries, especially when you're competing against some of the bigger brands. So yes, I do believe that it could be rolled back to some degree. Now what that is, that's kind of the underlying question. You get into some of that with the self-distribution the limited self-distribution that they passed. So you can get to some of that, but they tie your hands. Lisa can speak to it based on volume that you produce. Well, even as small craft distilleries, we're trying to produce enough volume. In this industry, you're looking 4, 6, 8, 10 years from now. You can't look at things, 2 weeks from now or 4 weeks from now, or even 4 months from now. You're trying to look into the future and project where bourbon's going to be. And obviously the COVID years have kind of scrambled those eggs out, but if there could be some modifications to the 3-tier system, I believe it would definitely help the craft industry tremendously.
So Marlene has rejoined us. So Marlene, you
Marlene.
answer all the
She made it.
Hey, Marlene.
Hello,
Good to see you
hi
again.
there. Hey, folks.
Hey,
So
Marlene.
Hey, Marlene.
let's catch Marlene up real quick. I'm not going to have you answer all the questions that you might have missed, but you're fine. Real quick though, go ahead and give yourself a plug if you don't mind. As far as My Lemon Green, where you guys are located, and if you wouldn't mind, brag about yourself a little bit.
All right, I hear you. Well, thanks for having me, you guys. Sorry about the technical. Evidently, the Wi-Fi is not working great there at the distillery, so I scrambled home. But yeah, so speaking of the distillery, we're located here in Hill Country in Blanco, right in between San Antonio and Austin, Texas. And a beautiful part of Hill Country. We've got a little distillery here that's got a couple of pot stills that we operate. And so a little bit about myself. I've been making whiskey for about 35 years now. And here at My Lemon Green for 8 years. And I am their master distiller. And so I spend a lot of my time the last couple of years being able to get out and run around and meet folks and brag about our crew and what we do and who we are. And yeah, I was named in 2024 Master Distiller of the Year. They're at the Bourbon Women's Symposium. Thank you. And then last year, yeah, we inducted into the Whiskey Hall of Fame. So last couple of years have been pretty crazy, to say the least.
Well earned. Well earned.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So Mark, and here's how we're doing things, Marlene. We're just going to go. The screen probably looks the same to you as it does to us. We got Whitney in the top left, and it wraps around back to you. So what we've been kind of doing is answering these generalized questions for everybody from different perspectives, right? So to Mark, to the question that you see, I don't know if you guys see the screen or not, but Tyler, if you want to repeat that question real quick.
Yeah. So Harold McAdory asked, do you think the small craft distilleries should be exempt from the 3-tier system?
I think they should be exempt to a certain point based on production. If you're producing 250,000 liters of alcohol a year, you're not going to compete with the Beams of the world.
Amen.
And you shouldn't have to compete with them in the 3-tier system.
Amen.
By the way, I'm drinking some of Marlene's whiskey tonight.
I put my glasses on.
My Lemon Green Forbidden.
Okay. Nice. Cheers to you there. I've got the same thing.
Is that provision?
It is provision, yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Grade 80 proofer.
I'm gonna preface my answer by saying that there are a lot of people in the distributor tier of that system who obviously have a vested interest in protecting that system. And I have personally experienced and seen some pretty vicious takedowns of journalists who question the 3-tier system. So
Bring it on.
that's why I'm like, you know what? They can try, whatever. But I will say that the 3-tier system, like, number one, in a lot of locations, there are so many loopholes to kind of get around that. There are a lot of places where there are provisions for selling out of a gift shop or whatever. And so you don't necessarily, you're not like completely locked into the 3-tier system 100% most places anymore. With that being said, I think if you can get in with a distributor, that's going to be a heck of a lot easier than hand selling individual bottles to people. Yeah. So, you know, like there's this whole like historical broader picture of why the 3-tier system came to be. And so it did at one point have great relevance, and it was meant to level the playing field. The industry has kind of flipped at this point. And so instead of like a lot, you know, a small number of very large distilleries distributing through these networks of systems, it's kind of like you have, we went from, you know, 30 years ago, there were, you know, 84 distilleries nationwide or something like that, to I think we peaked out around 3,400 in 2024. We shed about 20% of our DSPs between 2024 and 2025. So we're down to maybe like 2,600. But that's still a huge number of these businesses. And if every single one of those is trying to hand sell individual bottles to consumers, that's like death by 1,000 cuts, right? So you have to find that balance between the 3-tier system, making that work for you, and also those loopholes that allow you to be able to also hand sell those bottles.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Maggie, I appreciate your answer. I'm going to take maybe a broader approach here. So I'm a distributor in a different industry, right? We buy and sell products, and I've been doing that for 30 years. So bourbon is my hobby, right? It's my second industry. It's my industry I'm hoping to go to as I retire, right? Resurrecting our family brands that were part of bourbon for over 140 years. And so I have and I started that business out of my condo 30 years ago, and I now have about 160 employees. And when I look at this industry, I find it very interesting. It's very different, right? It's very different, and it's very competitive, and there's a lot of things. It's very capital intensive. I didn't really realize what I was getting into until when I said I was going to go from a hobby to a business to go to retire to, I didn't think my wife really understood what I meant, and I didn't really know what I meant either. And here we are. But what I would say is several things. I think Kentucky does a really good job for small people to figure out how to sell direct and distribute direct. And if you're going to be in the whiskey world and you're going to be in Kentucky, I don't think there's any place better to do it, right? We bought property, our old family property in Lawrenceburg, Kentucky, to set up a still, to just be a distiller, with 600 gallons. So when Mark talks about 250,000 gallons, just to even, that isn't anything when you talk about the big boys. I'm just like, man, I'm hoping to make 600 gallons just so I can self-distribute, right? And so, I mean, we're talking about different scales, different businesses and things like that. But when I look at this industry, I think that the distribution platform of this industry needs to be challenged, right? It is rolled up to be such big competitive, conglomerates. It didn't, with RNDC going down, it didn't get wider. It got even more consolidated, right? And so for smaller brands to be in that system, I agree with Maggie. I can't go to Tennessee and distribute to that state, let alone to Idaho or California or whatever. We need the 3-tier system. We just need it to work for everybody. And whether it's Congress is going to have to get involved because it's becoming too consolidated for such an integral part of our country of who we are and what, at least bourbon, right? I think it needs to be looked at and thought through, and I don't know that's going to happen anytime soon. And so your states are going to be very important to where you have your business and the states that they have, so you can survive, and what your business is really going to be, right? Is it going to be I say I don't really own a business, I own a job, right? And so I get to work in my job every day, and then I work in the business, and then I go home and I work on the business, and all you do is work all the time, right? And maybe you get to take a paycheck once in a while, right? When you start a business. Thank goodness this is my second industry, so I don't have to do those things. And so I think the whole system needs to be looked at, and I don't think it just has to do with craft participating in a 3-tier system. I think the whole 3-tier system needs to be looked at.
Very good.
Lisa, what do you think?
I could talk about this for hours. It's broken, right? And so, I think that there should be some exemptions. I don't know that it needs to be across the board, but my example is like East Coast, right? The RNDC, and before going into COVID, there were people that had been lifelong career guys. And when I say guys, I grew up in Indiana, so it means men and women. But Mark grew up down the road, and then anyway, so you'd go on these ride-alongs. I used to call them drive-bys in Stevie when I was distilling for like, Lisa, you can't call them drive-bys. On these ride-alongs. And but these guys knew, like, they'd go in and they weren't wasting my time, they weren't wasting their, because they had these relationships, they knew each other, they over the years they've had time to sit down and have a drink, and they've had conversations, and you go in 15 minutes you've just dropped 6 cases, right? Same thing, Colorado, you get there, you're doing on-site training, but they're organized, they're ready to go. And so just, when we first started, craft distillers started distilling, we made some shit whiskey, right? And so, first bubble of it, they're like, now we're not going to give it any consideration. And then as everybody's quality started to rise rather rapidly, right? Then all of a sudden they're like, oh my gosh, this is so much more interesting than, routine stuff that we've done with the big guys, until the big guys started coming out with some things that were a little bit more, don't get me wrong. There's nothing better than Yellow Dent big guy whiskey some nights. But the interest was there, right? And so they would push your product through, right? You knew when you dropped your product with them, they were going to be on the front line going, hey, I'm going to drop 6 cases of such and such as stuff, but I want you to pick up 1 case of whatever the brand is, right? And they would call you. They'd be so excited. They'd actually email you or call your sales guy and say, hey, we got the placement. And COVID, like RNDC, they fired all those guys during that time. And then they brought back a very young, very inexperienced workforce, and they're building their careers. And guess what? They're going to represent the big guys. They're going to go through, and your stuff's going to sit in the warehouse. And if you don't have enough people and the money to put people on your front line to follow pull through, right? It's not going to happen for you. And I can't tell you how many, particularly clients I've had who've had product literally held hostage in warehouses. They can't draw it back, and they can't pull through. Right. And it's been sitting there, and it's been sitting there for months, and in a couple of cases, years, 2 years. Right. And literally, in a pallet of whiskey for a little guy is a lot of tied up cash. Right. So, so the whole system is really broken. And it was, watching for some of the exceptions in the beginning were great as they, we're starting to look into the DTC stuff and, what happened in New York, the Brian Fouquet pulling all that off that he did up there, and the rest of the country kind of watching what he was doing. But yeah, it's just so broken right now. It's just so broken. So Whiskey Thief, one of the things Walter Zausch, the owner, has done, really, we're just putting our toes in the water with DTC, but we really literally sell all of our product out of the tasting room in Louisville or on the farm right now.
If I could just build upon that, I think I'd like to Whiskey Thief is a wonderful experience, right? And there's so many people that I talk to, they go around, they say, I went to all these distilleries, I went to Whiskey Thief, and we just had a great time. And that's the one they all talk about, right? But I think what they've done really well there is they built a business around what they can do, and they make it work, right? And that's a great business. And so the question becomes is, what do you want to make your business, right, as a brand? And you can have a great business that's a local brand that people come to and they have a great time, and maybe that's okay. And maybe you're not going to be in every state, right? And that's a great business to have. The question is what do you have, right? Is that business big enough to have I don't know how many employees they have there, but they do a nice job at Whiskey Thief. And I think you've done a wonderful job of what you're doing there. And 65
employees.
65 employees. That's a good business, right? Why can't that just be what it is? And so, now yes, all businesses want to keep growing, right? And I think all of us have to decide what we want our brands to be and where they're going to be. And at some point, then you get to be mature enough that you can grow your business. But I can tell you it took 25 years to build my other business, right? And so businesses aren't built overnight. Businesses take generations, especially in this industry. And I think people that are surviving, that make great products and have people that come to their place and they're surviving and they're making money and they have 65 employees, that's a wonderful business to have. And I think we should all celebrate those things. And I don't think there's a lot of stuff that is really broken. So I really think what you guys have there, Lisa, is wonderful.
Cheers to that.
Yeah.
Marlene, what do you think about this subject matter?
Well, I'll keep my answers short here for fear of getting myself in trouble. Yeah, but knowing the business, like I do, and getting out and traveling around and seeing how over the years, the last couple of decades, it's changed. There's no doubt that the system is antiquated. There's changes that definitely need to be made. We make really great whiskey. We've got a really great brand and a great product. And so, I look at the distributor as being a partner of ours. Those folks are partners, and it's a little disheartening when you find out that there is a few cases or a half a pallet of something that has been sitting, in a warehouse someplace, and it's like, where did this come from, or how long have we had this? So I think there's some things that need to be worked on, no doubt. I'd like to see a little more of a balanced, fair playing field for the little guys. How that's going to happen, I'm not real sure, because we're a little boutique outfit. Lisa talks about having 65 employees. We've got like 20, and we don't have the boots on the ground to go out into these markets like that we need to. But there are some changes that need to be made. There's no doubt about it. What those things might be, I'm not real sure, but yeah, something needs to change.
Hey, so I think I found a very interesting question here. I know that it's mainly applies to 4 of you, but I want to kind of hear it from everybody. And what is the best Coal Pick bottle, McBrayer bottle, Milam and Green bottle, and Whiskey Thief bottle? And for those of you that are in media, which one is your favorite?
Oh, don't do that. Don't do that, Tyler. No.
Good answer, Maggie.
Yeah, Maggie and Mark, you don't.
But
yeah. All right, go ahead.
Sounds like somebody's trying to pit us all against each other. But
Oh my God.
it was Charlie's idea.
That's Charlie's MO.
Go ahead.
Throw a flaming bag in.
Go ahead.
Well, I'm gonna go with our single barrel proof, and I'm only going to say that because I'm typically a small batch guy. It takes a lot of time to put a small batch together, picking barrels and making them blend right, and coming to the palate that you like, and trying to stay consistent with that. But we're pretty proud of our single barrel proof. You just got a double platinum at the Ascot Awards. I was just telling Charlie that before the show started, but got double platinum at the Ascot Awards, and then with the American Distilling Institute International Awards, we got a silver medal and made the short list for America's best single barrel whiskey. So if I'm pushing a product right now, obviously it's one that we're getting awards with. So I would say our single barrel proof. That's where I would go with it.
So I actually found the other part to that question. It's for Mark and Maggie. Which bottle is your favorite from each company?
All right. There you go. That's
Okay. I can make this real simple because I have not had the privilege of trying Coal Pick, McBrayer Spirits, or what Lisa's cooking up down at Whiskey Thief yet. So,
Mark, you need to come over to my house the next time you're in town.
Yeah, I need to. So I've not had the privilege of trying those, but I have tried a bunch of Milam and Greens, and I've not had a bad bottle of Milam and Green yet.
I agree.
So I actually just had Coal Pick for the first time a few weeks ago. I was visiting my friend Candace Roberts down at Art Eatables on Main Street at the Baptized in Bourbon bar, where she does the chocolate and bourbon pairings. And she was like, "Hey, have you heard of this yet? Have you tried it?" And I said, "No, actually, I haven't even heard of it." So she poured it for me. So I can't say that is the best thing that you make, but I have tried it. As far as McBrayer Legacy Spirits, Bill every once in a while comes into town and brings me a bottle, and everything I've had so far has been fantastic. I was looking to see, I know that in one of the last couple of issues of American Whiskey Magazine, it got an editor's choice, I think, didn't it? Yeah.
Yep.
And so, like, I always, when I when I get my advanced copies of the magazine, I flip through it, and if anybody I like gets an editor's choice, I picture with my cell phone and I text it to them. So I texted that to Bill when it came out. As far as Whiskey Thief, I've been out there twice in the last couple of months, and the first time I went out there to bug Lisa at work, I tried their brandy. Peach brandy, and it was very different and very interesting. It was like kind of nutty almost, and I think Lisa said that was because the peaches were kind of green, or something like that. But what were they?
One batch was a little bit underripe, so I had to pull out every wine.
It was so good. Everything was so good. And obviously the whiskeys they're making are really fantastic. They actually just put out a gin that won at San Francisco World Spirits Competition, or
in the World Spirits Competition. Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So
Yeah.
they have, so
Best in US. We just won Best in US gin.
Everything they're making is really super awesome. Then over at Milam and Green, I love they did a series. Actually, I may have it over here. Oh yeah, the one where they made the whiskeys, and then some were aged in Kentucky and some were aged in Texas.
Oh, the
It was
answer.
really interesting because they packaged those together, so you can actually see like how that the aging, the maturation climates affected the same whiskey so very differently, and then also.
Yes.
Look at that.
Nice.
Yes.
So
I almost picked that
a bunch of
pit
cool
pairing to drink tonight, but I stuck with the provisions instead.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
Haven't had anything bad from any of these folks. So
It's amazing the difference in the Bardstown barrels and the Texas barrels. It's amazing the difference, the way the environment affects them.
Well, someone's phone is going. I don't know who it is, but it's piercing my ears. Is it one of you?
The beeping of the phone. I don't know whose phone that is beeping. They get a lot of messages.
I think it might.
Bill, what do you got?
Well, I'm going to give you a small commercial here, right? So American Whiskey Magazine gave our Cedar Brook a couple of magazines ago, maybe a 90, right? That's our $55 bottle. Our Old McBrayer just got a 8-year, got a platinum at the Ascot Awards. And then our WH McBrayer Batch 5 got a double platinum at the Ascot Awards last week.
Which, by the way, Bill, who helped you blend it? I just want to know.
I don't know. I mean, a couple guys that might be on there. They were hanging out with us, and they really like this blend, and they were good. But my new favorite is our 250th that we're releasing next week to our Legacy Club. So,
who helped you blend that one too?
You were there. You picked. Well, it was blended when you got there. It was already blended.
I helped you
Fair
choose
enough.
which one.
But you said it was the best one, and so you said it was better than Batch 5.
I'm getting the taste of that one.
And then I didn't call Jeff, and he was really pissed off at me. And, and
I love that
and those kind of things. But the 250 is going to be fun. It's only 1,776 bottles of our legacy mash bill that came from our letter from McBrayer to E.H. Taylor when he first started, and used the mash bill that was on the back of that letter that our friend Michael Veach found in the Taylor Hayes files back in the Filson Society a long time ago. That really led me down the path of being in this crazy bourbon world and resurrecting our family brands.
Well, Bill, I'm going to have a side conversation with you later because I think I'm going to send you down another rabbit hole.
Oh, that's awesome. And I hope I know what it's about too. I think I know what that's about. So that's fantastic. Thank you.
Lisa, what do you got?
Well, if I'm allowed to protest, this is my least favorite question that I ever get.
You know what? You guys are a little different.
Well, we do so many single barrels, but I have 3 grown children. They're all married, and I have 5 gorgeous grandsons. And it's like asking which one's my favorite of the 11, right?
You have a favorite. Everybody has a favorite.
Okay.
It's the best behaved one of the bunch.
Maybe the bottled and bond. Yeah. And but the bottled and bond I fall back on, especially right now with them, it makes an insanely wonderful highball. But and I'm still new enough. If I'm going to answer it truthfully, I'm still new enough that I still get surprises. We're so single barrel focused, right? And so one day you go through the line, you're like, oh, these are all solid. Another day you're like, oh my gosh, what happened to barrel 4? This is the best whiskey I've had since I got here, right? And so, I've got a lot of barrels that I inherited, right? And so, that's still getting familiar with those. But right now I have to say the bottled and bond, but we do have some, special releases throughout the year that are crazy fun. We just got done with Mayday Rye. It's always a hazmat rye. And so, 140 proof or 135 proof, and people love it. We bottle that in 375s. We've got our 5th of July's coming up, and it's a finished whiskey. And so we've got some really fun things that Walter had already established before I got there, and we're just like any job, you take what you've got and just keep trying to elevate it a little bit, right? So okay, bottle and bond. I'm gonna vote on bottle and bond.
Marlene, I got a personal favorite out of yours. I love your guys' unabridged, but you speak for yourself.
Yeah, well, the same here. When people ask me that question, it's like, which kid do you like best? And so, but I do have an answer. And actually, mine is the unabridged as well. I just love, when I started at Milam and Green, that's when I really, after a year or so, really got an appreciation for just sipping whiskey out of a barrel, just in its raw form, thief and whiskey. And, prior to that, it was always proof down whiskey generally that I would drink. And so I had a newfound appreciation for just cask strength whiskey. So the unabridged, we've had 4 volumes of it. 3 of those volumes have won a double platinum at the Ascot Awards. Volume 4, we just found out a few days ago, was a double platinum also. Those generally clock in like around 117, 118 proof. But, the cool thing about that is going back to the climate experience, Maggie, that you speak of, Mark, of the answer that we did. We bring our whiskey in and let it age for several years here in this Texas heat. And then to be able to take those different aged whiskeys and batch them together and come up with the unabridged, it's a pretty neat opportunity for us. So that the unabridged is just hands down. I mean, I love all of ours. I do. When I drink in the afternoon, I just open the cabinet and reach down. I don't even look. I just grab a bottle and whatever I grab, I know I'm going to be happy with it. But I love our unabridged.
Very good. Very good. All right, Tyler, what we got?
So I see one from Roger Reese. Aside from Bill, does anyone else work with whiskey groups on barrel picks? I happen to know firsthand that Bill does.
Well, when you are the only employee and you have a couple guys that are, volunteering their time to help you, I guess you're involved in the barrel picks.
That was my stuff. Whitney, that, and you can kind of add to it if you want.
Well,
if you know what I mean?
Well, so I do all of our single barrel picks and put all of our small batches together. So, and then obviously we're doing a barrel pick with a few guys here in a couple weeks. So, but yeah, we're small. I mean, we've got 3 guys that basically work in the distillery plus myself, so 4, and then we've got a kind of a farmhand takes care of me. We're sitting on over 4,000 acres, so we got a bunch of ground to maintain. So we got a part-time guy and a full-time guy, but yeah, as far as the barrel picks go, I do all the barrel picking, single barrels and small batches. So yeah. It's a tough job. Somebody's got to do it, right?
And I know with Mark and Maggie, it's a different kind of a question for you all. But I mean, obviously, you guys had barrel pick experiences. I would assume. If you wanted to maybe talk about an experience or so.
Go ahead, Maggie.
Well, I've done so many barrel picks that I've lost count. At Four Roses alone, I've done over 30. My first ever barrel pick was with Jim Rutledge at Four Roses.
Oh, wow.
I've done at least 12 with Al Young before he passed away. So I've done a lot of barrel picks, and it's actually one of my favorite things to do now. Like a lot of different groups will be picking barrels and they'll say, hey, do you want to come along? The most recent one that I did was we did a barrel pick out at Buffalo Trace for a place called Virtue Feed and Grain in Alexandria, Virginia. And it was the first single barrel of, they just started doing single barrels of, I want to say Elmer T. Lee. I think that's right. It's Elmer T. I'm pretty sure it's Elmer T. Lee. They just started allowing single barrels of Elmer T. Lee. So they got one of the first ones. They're only doing like 6 a year or something like that. So they got one of the first 6 when they opened up that experience. And we did that with Freddie Johnson, who is just an amazing, but like all the single barrel picks that I do, I went to one last week actually at Whiskey Thief. It was more of a blending thing. It was with Bourbon Women. They brought a bunch of master distillers and master tasters from various distilleries and brands across. Really, I think most of them were from, weren't they?
Everyone was from Kentucky, yeah.
Yeah, so we had Sherry Moore and Brittany Penny, and we had Alex Castle and Jane Bowie and Elizabeth McCall, and it was just amazing. Lisa and Sherry Moore. I think I said Sherry Moore already. I really like Sherry Moore.
Sherry was there too. We had 2 Sherrys, yeah.
Oh yeah, Sherry. Yeah, the other Sherry Carter as well. So it was just a really amazing group of women coming together on a project. And that's again, I think. Somebody mentioned this earlier, how amazing it is that people really come together and work together in this industry for things like that. So it's a lot of fun. And, I definitely, I understand that I'm very privileged in that.
Yeah. I'm less privileged than Maggie because since I don't live in Kentucky, I don't get invited to do barrel picks. So
come on down.
You're invited.
I need to spend more time in Kentucky.
Yes, you do.
And then real quick, I know Bill's next. I will say that from Bourbon and Ballz perspective, Bill was our very first barrel pick, and I do appreciate that experience. So and I know he does those. He does them very well. So go ahead, Bill.
Well, as I said, I mean, I am technically the only employee that doesn't get paid. Well, I'm not the only employee that doesn't get paid because I have 2 other people that help me out that don't get paid. One being my dad. And then, Brian Smith is now helping run our single barrel program. So I need to give him a plug because he's doing a great job. He's doing a great job. He's got a great palate and he really helps my liver out quite a bit. So I don't have to drink so much because I don't have a good palate and I have to just keep drinking it to figure it out. And so, so I got to give Brian a good plug for helping us out with our single barrel program and with our blending and things that we're doing together. But, I appreciate Roger's question, doing the barrel picks. It's fun to do them. I love being part of seeing all the people that do barrel picks with us. We just started doing those in the last year, right? I think you were the 2nd or 3rd barrel pick that we did.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Right. So
it was a great pick.
It was fantastic.
So Lisa, what do you got?
Yeah, for the size we have a pretty robust single barrel program. Miss Hannah is a fireball. She is our single barrel manager. But we have all kinds of different groups in there for different reasons, so and we sell a lot of single barrels, but we always have room for more. One of the things we do too is we bottle, we house several other small brands. If somebody's too small for the big houses, we will absolutely accommodate them on bottling and private labeling and, barrel picks or whatever anybody wants to do. We're pretty versatile. So anyway, but yeah, if you've got a whiskey group, you can email us at hannah@whiskeythief.com or lisa@whiskeythief.com and we can get you set up.
Nice. And then Marlene, what about you?
Yeah, so I love barrel picks. I mean, that's one of my favorite things to do is bring a group in and go to the rick house. And because I like that barrel raw barrel proof whiskey. So I get a kick out of doing that. But yeah, we've worked with several groups over the last 5 or 6 years. Rick Monroe, he's our distillery director. He's got his fingers in on a lot of things going on there at the distillery. So he runs that program for us. But yeah, we just had a group in a couple of weeks ago out of Austin that we shared some great barbecue. And we do a barrel tasting, do a barrel pick. So yeah, we have done a lot of barrel picks here in Texas. We've done actually several up in Tennessee. We've got a group up there that they're just fabulous to work with, and getting ready to head to LA here in a couple of weeks, and got some folks out there that are interested in doing a barrel pick with us. So I enjoy doing that, and it's a fun time for me.
I love seeing the fact that there's a barrel pick out in Los Angeles. I would never have thought that, right?
Yeah.
So that's awesome. Very good. All right, Tyler.
All right. From Chris Barlow, stories and experiences make a product a memory. Can you share your best industry or product memory?
Shoo. Wow.
Don't all speak at once.
I don't know where you start. So, I mean, I can go through my camera roll and probably give you a whole plethora of memories. I think the biggest one for us is the fact that, just being a small craft distillery, we're really hands-on. I call ourselves the junkyard dogs because we buy a lot of used equipment, refurbish it, make it work. We don't go out and spend $20 million building a big distillery and doing those things. So, man, to narrow it down to one is kind of an anomaly. But I guess one of my favorite memories is back in the day when we very first started, we used to kind of gravity feed. Our fermenters sent way above our pot stills, so we'd actually gravity feed. As crazy as that sounds in today's world, gravity feed out of our fermenters into our pot still. Well, if you don't have the hose hooked up below it and you open the fermenter and somebody's below that hose, it makes for a interesting day. So now all the guys that work for me and even some of the past guys that's no longer there, but everybody has what we call a go bag. And that's because if you ever get mash spilt on you and you try to work a 8, 10, 12-hour day, that is terrible. You're just going to go. So everybody has a go bag. You take a bath in a water hose and you go change your clothes and clean up the mess and go from there. So
yeah, did you have to sleep outside that night?
No, but my dog kept licking my leg for some reason. I really walked sideways. So.
All right, Mark, what do you got?
Best memory would be 2016 or 2017 after the Bourbon Hall of Fame luncheon in Bardstown, sitting down with Parker Beam and Jimmy Russell for an interview together. Parker was well into ALS by then and was having a lot of trouble speaking, but he was able to get a lot of thoughts out. And Jimmy was Jimmy, of course.
Yeah.
And sitting there with the two of them bullshitting for about 20 minutes was amazing.
Nice.
Unbelievable.
That's a hell of a memory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
How many people get that opportunity?
Now, is that in any of your episodes by chance?
The video's online on our YouTube channel.
Oh, wow.
And how far back do you think we need to go to about what?
2017 or so.
Okay. All right. Very good. For those, I'm interested. I'm gonna go back and look at it.
Absolutely.
Cool.
I literally cannot pick a single best memory. Like, I have the most amazing life. I get to do the most amazing stuff. And like every day, like I literally cannot. I've done skeet shooting with Jimmy Russell. I've taken a boat out to an uninhabited island in the middle of Lake Michigan to see rye growing. I cannot even pinpoint one best because like every day of my life is better than the last one.
Yeah.
I
love my job.
That's awesome. I mean, don't you guys? I mean, I guess all of you guys would say this is like, you just like, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
You have to pinch yourself and be like,
One of the conversations I had, I want to say it was with Ryan from Bourbon Pursuit. We were talking about like, if this all ended tomorrow, I'd be like, it was great. No regrets.
No regrets. Yep.
It's just like every day is better than the last. I've made so many amazing friends along the way, like Al Young and Freddie Johnson and Lisa. And, I have so many amazing friends in this industry, and it's just so much fun every single day.
Yeah.
And everybody on the panel, I would imagine, could echo the same sentiment. So I would imagine that's a great one. Bill, what do you got?
Yeah. Well, it was 14 years ago when I learned the story about the McBraers and how influential they were in Kentucky bourbon. And, I went down this path and there's so many things that are important, right? Told my dad to hurry up and retire to help me figure out how we were going to do this. And we've been doing this together for 14 years now. So he just turned 79. So, those are great memories. My wife, she's been with me along this journey, and she writes all our newsletters, and she came up with the idea on the 250 and we get to talk about these things, and she's embraced this now maybe differently than she did when I said I was going to get in the whiskey business. But I would say if I had to pick one, right, was when I came home 14 years ago and I told my family I was going to get in the whiskey business, and I knew nothing about it, and I was just going to drink a bunch of it and figure it out. They all kind of looked at me like I had three heads, right? And I had teenage kids, and I don't, my daughter played sports, and we'd go out and we'd all go out to a restaurant after a sports game or whatever, and I'd be telling bourbon stories with all my dad friends, and I'd embarrass my daughter, and she'd say next time we'd get ready to go to dinner, and she'd say, "Hey Dad, when we go out tonight, would you not talk about bourbon? Like, you're so embarrassing." Right. And so what was and then, after dinner, I'd grab a drink or something, and my wife like, it's Monday night, you're having a drink. I'm like, honey, I am working. This is product research, right? We're doing product research tonight. I'm getting in this business. I got to figure out what it means to drink these different bourbons and all this stuff. And then I'd pass out in my chair, and my kids were taking bets about what time I'd pass out and all that stuff. Right. And here we are 14 years later. My daughter's 29. She's going to get married in a couple of weeks. My son's getting ready to turn 26, and he works for me now in the business, the other business. Right. But this business is, even though we're small, it's a real business, right? And you can take an idea and you just keep working at getting better every day, and you can make it something, right? And my kids have now got to see that, and that little entrepreneurial journey that we're on, even though it's very early. We're very early after 14 years and several dollars of buying barrels, to say the least. But they get to see it, and it's real. Right now I'm cool. Right. So I think the best thing about it is my kids have got to see this little entrepreneurial journey, got to hear the stories, got to see the work, and the plugging away every day to get better. And I think really for me, outside of spending all this time with my dad, working with my wife on the side when we aren't doing other things in my other business together, is that my kids get to see the entrepreneurial journey that we're on. And maybe someday it will be something, and maybe someday they'll want to be in it, but we'll just see what that looks like someday.
Oh, that's a great story.
That's cool.
Yeah. All right, Lisa, what you got?
Kind of in Maggie's camp. There's so many stories. I've been making beverage alcohol. I think I'm going in my 27th year, so I haven't caught up to Marlene yet, but Marlene knows I'm one of her groupies. So it's okay. Yeah. So, I was a farm winemaker first, but I'm looking at everybody here on the screen. And so the first spark that I had in the whiskey industry, it was Mark Gillespie, and he's not going to remember this story, but I had a product when I was distilling for Steve Beam at Limestone Branch. I'd moved out of winemaking. I had overlapped with him because I'd started making some brandy bases for him to distill and
I remember this.
left the winery, yeah. And then it's the All-Star Sampler that doesn't exist anymore at the Kentucky Bourbon Festival. And I had gone the year before with Steve. I was still running the winery, but he had invited me to come with him, and it was like, oh my gosh. And everybody was there, right? You know, he introduced me to everybody, right? And you know, it's just so funny. I remember him introducing me to Parker Beam, and Parker crosses his arms across, because I was still making wine at the time. He crosses his arms across his chest. He's like, so what kind of varietals are you using? How much wine are you making? How much da-da-da-da? It's like, boom, boom, boom. It didn't matter. It was a different juice. And, but anyway, so the first non-bourbon to be poured at the Kentucky Bourbon Festival, because the craft distillers were coming on and we didn't have anything old if we didn't source. And so I had manipulated a product that we got labeled by the TTB as sugar whiskey. And I had manipulated it with a kind of a fake Solera program. And we had manipulated it with some wood like I had in wine. And I brought that over to whiskey. And so Mark's there, and Steve introduces me to him. And Steve's like, Lisa, talk to Mark, tell him what this is. And it was called Precinct 6. And I still have a few bottles. I'm disappearing here in the dark, but it's a beautiful label. I mean, just fantastic. And so anyway, Mark's like, I'll be back. He didn't taste it. But they had put me next to Willett, and I'm literally shaking. I mean, when we got set up, I'm literally shaking. And so Mark comes back around, and he's like, okay, I'll taste this now, after he's been to everybody else. And well, great, after he's all this fantastic whiskey, and he tastes it, and he looks at me, he looks at Steve, he goes, can I interview her right now?
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'm going to cry. I'm going to cry. But that was like the first time I'm like, maybe what I'm doing is legitimate, right?
Yeah.
Oh, what a great story. That is awesome.
Yeah. And then Mark and I found out shortly after that we were at Indiana University at the same time. We overlapped. He missed having my grandmother as a teacher in Brown County, Indiana by just a few years. And yeah, anyway, yeah, we had our paths crossed before and we didn't know it. Yeah.
What a great story. All right, Marlene, you got to follow that up. So go ahead.
I know. What? No, that's a tough one. Thanks a lot, Lisa. But I love you, Marlene. No, I'll tell you, actually.
Tell us a book or no story, Marlene.
Well,
yes, there you go.
It's actually not a book or no story, but it is a Jim Beam story. Actually, two stories come to mind, one with Beam and one with Milam and Green, but this one popped in my mind first. So I spent the first 10 months at Beam rolling barrels. So those of you in the business know what rolling barrel means. You're in a rick house and you're either putting new whiskey in or taking aged whiskey out. So thank God I was able to go into the distillery after about 10 months and get away from the physical side of the business for a little while. So I'm training with this guy one night. And I had been there in the distillery, if I remember right, about maybe 2 or 3 weeks, just long enough to not get myself in trouble, but still not know a whole lot about the operation. And we was having some trouble with a diverter valve on our grain system. Now, a diverter valve basically is what it says it is. It'll divert the grain either to one cooker or to another cooker. And so just so happened the supervisor was there up on the mash floor with us. And we had this little crow's nest that was right above the cookers, about 8 feet above those. We had 2 mash cookers. About 8 feet above those mash cookers is where that diverter valve was. So the supervisor's like, well, I'll go up and see if the sensor needs to be cleaned off or whatever. So we're like, okay, and so he crawls up there, climbs up there. And so we've got one cooker that is just went under pressure. So it's at 200 and some degrees. The other cooker we was trying to get started. So he yells down and he yells to the other operator, who was the senior operator. And he's like, hey, open the chute on such and such cooker. And the operator looks at him. He's like, are you sure you want me to do that? And the supervisor was like, yeah, go ahead and open it. And so I looked at this guy and I said, what's going to happen if you open that valve? All the pressure that other cooker's under. I mean, it's like going to blow those chutes, those grain chute doors open. And he's like, hey, he told me to do. And I'm like, so about that time, he pushes the button. Well, just what I thought was going to happen happened. Those grain chute doors slam open. Mash flies everywhere. There's dust everywhere. And I'm like, well, you know, that was a short-lived career, because I just that would be all my career in the whiskey business. But after the dust settled, the supervisor was fine, but he had crooked glasses on. He had mash that was caked all over his clothes. But anyway, so that was one of the funny things that, thank God, nobody was hurt. But one of the things that goes back to like 1991.
Yeah.
But there's been many. There's been many.
But, I mean, to Mark's point, you've got to have a Beam story, right? Or a Booker No.
A Booker No story. You know, with Booker, you know, when I met Booker, that's how I got into the business, was with catfish. You know, that dude loved to fish. And so he was running an experiment. And so when I got involved with that experiment with him, I had lunch with him. And you know, the thing about it that sticks out in my mind, and this is really going to sound really weird probably to you guys, but we met at a little local cafe, real small town, little cafe for lunch, and he orders a hamburger. And so instead of like putting ketchup, you know, on a hamburger and eating the hamburger, he's got a ketchup bottle in one hand, the hamburger in the other hand. And so every bite gets a douse of ketchup. And I thought, well, that's an interesting way to put ketchup on your hamburger. But, you know,
sounds like my husband.
Is that right? Yeah. So, but you know, he was a larger than life person, big booming voice and big guy. And nobody wanted to piss Booker off, you know, because you would really get in trouble if you didn't do things the way Booker wanted things done. And nobody wanted to be on Booker's bad side. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Oh,
that.
very good. Wow, man,
I did think about an additional happy thing that I want to share. So I recently discovered a woman distiller in Kentucky after Prohibition. And when I was reading this book on the plane and got to the point where she says, and then after Prohibition, Dad and Uncle so-and-so asked if I wanted to be a distiller. And I was like, sure, why not? I was so happy I wanted to jump out of that plane. That was a pretty big high spot for me. So that was Marcella McKenna, Henry McKenna's granddaughter.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow.
Oh, neat.
So more to come on that.
Wow.
That's what are the odds of that? All right, Tyler, I don't know where we go from this, but let's go ahead and try.
So we're leaving experiences and going a little bit more into the science behind it. But what is one grain you don't currently use that you would like to see or use, or what is your favorite non-common grain?
What we got? Well, the only current grain we don't, I guess I ain't gonna say only current grain, but the only thing we don't use right now is oats, and I know that's a lot of folks are starting to kind of go with that a little more. So you know, we're small enough that we probably could if we had the ability to get it in a bin or maybe even do some super sacks with it or something like that directly into our hammer mill. But I would say oats right now. That's just something that you're starting to see a lot of as even a 4-grain or even people doing just a straight mash bill with it. So I would say oats for me if I was going with something.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is oats add a nice creaminess to a mash bill,
right?
That especially when you get it into say Irish pot still whiskey. I know we're talking bourbons tonight, but you talk Irish pot still, they put a little bit of oats in there, and it just makes it so creamy and almost like a Guinness in terms of taste.
Right. Well, we use pot stills with 4-plate, columns. If some people want to call it a hybrid style steel or whatever, but for us, we could do that with oats and probably see what we come out with.
Interesting. Maggie, do you have a comment on that?
Yeah, so I really like non-standard varietals of like corn and rye and wheat and stuff like that. So there are a number of people doing really interesting work with that. You know, there are two kind of rose and rye projects going on, one in Michigan, one in Pennsylvania. Shelley Sakier is doing a really amazing Virginia Heritage Grain project. I'm really excited to see the data that she gets from that, bringing back some, you know, varietals of all different kinds of grains that were once prominent in, you know, the southeastern area. And then you have people like Gary Heingardner, who is always coming up. He's always cooking up something interesting over there in Missouri at Woodhat Spirits. He's the guy, if you've ever seen him walking around wearing one of these, he literally wears a wooden hat. So very interesting guy. He texted me the other day and said, I've got something coming out you're going to be excited about. And I was like, I can't wait. Let's see it. Let's see it. You know, and then there's a couple folks in, you know, the southern United States, Doc Brown Farm. They're growing a Jimmy Red corn, and they're doing some really interesting work with that. So I like the non-standard varietals of corn and small grains because I think that they are really giving us some interesting flavor options.
Mm-hmm. Great. So when we first started, you know, when I found that letter from McBrayer H. Taylor, right, it was an 88.4% corn mash bill that they were using, and Michael Veach and Chuck Crowder were talking about it on this blog post, and they said, you know, somebody needed to remake this and go in the barrel at 105 proof like they did in the old days, and so we said we wanted to use an heirloom corn, and a friend of my dad's, this is 2016, so he had Bloody Butcher red corn, right, and so we said, hey, well, we went to our contract distiller and said, can we make bourbon, and what do you think about Bloody Butcher red corn? And they said, oh, it tastes great. Your Woodhat guy had made a bourbon back then with Bloody Butcher. So we actually had him ship us some Bloody Butcher corn that we used on our first 10 barrels we made in 2016 with this distiller. And then we had a farmer take the leftover and grow it there in Kentucky for us. And so we love that Bloody Butcher corn. That's what we use for our WH product. And it's almost all corn, right? 88% corn, and that nuttiness and that buttery note that you get from that Bloody Butcher corn is so different than the yellow dent corn. And so we really like that grain, and we love the heritage grains, and we think that our WH product is a legacy product is what we call it, and we want to use more heritage grains with that if we're ever going to expand that product, and that's what we want to use for that. But I do have to make one other comment. In the chat there, people are talking about me having to grow a beard to match the judge, right? And you know, I mean, I would really like to, but I mean, I shave like twice a week now, and I'm 55. I don't think I'm ever going to get there. I really want to. I mean, I need to, you know. Whitney up there, you could be part of the judge, man. We'll just make that Whitney's into it. Although he's got a shaved head, you know, us Scottish McBrayers, we still had our hair, you know, but he's got, you know, the judge had that big beard and things, and I really wish I could do it, and I really would, but I just can't.
Just get a prosthetic. It would be like Fred Minnick's ascot. It's like you can
take it off at night, right? You're going to have to tell Fred you said that. It's a prosthetic.
Oh, I will tell him when I see him. Don't worry.
That's a pretty good one.
Bill, it's not that I couldn't. It's not that I don't try to grow hair up here. It's just that, you know, maybe it's stress of wearing.
I got it here. I don't have it here, right? It's just one of those things. So
I need to transplant it from here to here, and I would be okay. But you know, when you take off one hat and put it down and put on another hat, I don't know if it's like wearing the hair out or because it causes it not to grow. I've not quite figured that out yet.
I mean, Whitney's got the beard, you know, like the judge, but I just can't do it. You know, I really like to. So, yeah, thank you.
Maggie, can you adopt me? Okay. I don't know why you would want that, but
Well, that might have been what you said earlier, as far as your everyday life in the whiskey world, as far as
oh
how
yeah, that's true.
That'd be my guess.
I mean, I think my kids would say that that doesn't translate to their quality of life, though. So,
okay.
Although I did have a phone call. My son was on his senior field trip the other day, and he called me while he was on the school bus going up to Kings Island. He was like, "Mom, Simon has a question about yeast," and he puts his best friend on the phone, and he's asking me all these like really technical questions about yeast, and I'm sitting there answering all these questions, thinking, why is this high schooler so interested in yeast science?
That is so
But I
strange.
love it. I love that they
That's
thought
awesome.
of me.
That's awesome.
Oh man. So Lisa, I gotta be honest with you, I forget the question.
It's about grain. It's about I'm
yeah. Okay, there you go, Lisa. Great.
Yeah, so my whole distilling career has mostly been heirlooms. When I started with Steve Beam, we were using an heirloom white. I think it was Trucker's Preference or something like that. And then I get to Starlight. When I was distilling for Ted, we were running Bloody Butcher, one of the Hopi blue varieties. There's a whole bunch of them, and another white, and it was a numbered white. It didn't have a name to it, and so we were running all those. So I was able to compare and contrast from all the different distillations and everything and how things were handled. The corn standards for whiskey were written in 1942 by Seagram's, and I have sworn that I'm going to rewrite them for heirloom corn on a large scale, because it doesn't always work. You can't cook it too hot, you got to hold it a little bit longer to get rid of some of those waxy characteristics that are in some of the heirlooms, right? The other thing I always do is I bake them into cornbread first, so if it doesn't taste good in cornbread, you're not going to make whiskey out of it.
Oh
Yeah, there's a Oaxacan green that it was so gorgeous, right? Just looked like emerald, and it tasted like a green leaf. The chlorophyll in it was just too much. It's like, I can't run whiskey with this one, but I'm still open-minded. But so then after Ted Huber, I get to Widow Jane, and several years I was growing corn back here and running it at Castle and Key. We were growing corn upstate New York. We were distilling that in New York City, and then seed corn was being grown in central Pennsylvania because of hail, locust, and acts of God, right? It was a one-of-a-kind corn. It was a cross between Bloody Butcher and Wapsie Valley. It got rid of some of the Bloody Butcher waxy characteristics and got rid of some of the a little bit of the funk in Wapsie, and so it was a nice combination. Bern Peterson grew it back for his, because he had we were the first people that had a project of any size, and it was a whole long story. I won't bore you with all of it, but so anyway, for a few years going into COVID, we had the largest heirloom corn crop for whiskey in the United States, and growing it out here, Bernard's growing it all different places, high, low, the standability issues, right? We're trying to work around those. His agronomist Scott was fantastic, so I got my head around how they needed to be handled a little bit differently. So I'm still doing the deep dive in heirlooms, right? So we're running, I had shifted Whiskey Thief as soon as I got there to a heirloom white, buying from one of our brokers with Kentucky grown corn. Ben Eves, one of my distillers, really got his heart set on purple. So he went home and baked his cornbread and came back to work, and we ate that with some butter. And like, you can make whiskey out of this. It tastes pretty darn good. But like on the creamy note that Mark was talking about, one of the things I've always fallen back on is malted rye. I love malted rye and malted barley. If I'm going to use rye in a mash bill, I tend to go with malted rye because it gives a really nice heavy cream note in it. And so I'm continuing. But one of the things I'd like to experiment with, I would like to use more and more different malted grains, right? And different types of, like, a lot of these heirloom grains, to see how the flavor shifts. It's like the malted rye. Once I've gone to the malted rye with heirloom corn, I just can't go back. I just can't. I can't, because the heirloom corn's the flavor grain, right? The heirloom corn's the flavor grain. You don't want like that rye bite to compete with it. You want something that's a little, in my opinion, something a little bit softer and everything. So so I've been poking around, like I said, changing around some of the corn standards, and maybe before I die, I'll actually get those finished if somebody doesn't make it good.
Well, let me just say, I know we're getting to Marlene here in a second. Let me just say the IQ minus the bottom screen of this video here is just out of this world. All six of you guys. Yeah. I can't believe we're having this episode. This is outstanding.
Yeah.
Real quick too, for those who are in chat, and we'll get to Marlene. Real quick, hashtag B&B if you guys are interested in the free samples that we're going to give away. to the respective distillers that are on the show tonight. And then a $5 super chat, of course, will give you a choice of any of their bottles, plus a 1-year subscription to American Whiskey Magazine. I just had to do that plug real quick.
Nice.
All right, Marley, to you. What is your answer to the question I have forgotten again?
The grain.
The grain.
Yeah, talking about the malted rye, in our mash bill, our Milam and Green standard #1 mash bill is malted rye. We've used that from day one. And that was a new thing for me. We had always used raw rye in the past, and then to be able to work with the malted rye the mash is just amazing. And then the distillate coming off of these pot stills are absolutely amazing as well. It amazed me to take that rye after it's been malted and then just to chew on it, roll it around in your mouth and chew on it. The nuttiness, the chocolate, the notes that you'll pick up on it. It's pretty cool. Yeah, so we've done that. We use that in our mash bill every day. But I think if I had to do something a little different, I have had some Jimmy Red whiskey out of Beaumont, out of the Beaumont area, Beaumont, Texas, and let me tell you something. It was really, really nice. So I think that would be the one grain that I would love to. We tinkered around a little bit with some wheat. Red Winter wheat, malted Red Winter wheat in our recipe. So we've got that aging in our rick houses now, but love to get my hands on some Jimmy Red and go that route and see what we can come up with.
Marlene, what distilleries working with it in Beaumont? I know that Highwire in Charleston, South Carolina is famous for Jimmy Red, but what distilleries working with it in Beaumont?
Yeah, and I've been sitting here trying to rack my brain as to I met those guys, drank whiskey with them, probably drank too much whiskey, evidently, because I can't remember the name of the darn distillery. But, they're at Beaumont, but I'll look that up, Mark, and I'll get back to you on that because I cannot think of the name of their distillery, but they do an outstanding job. Yeah, really nice.
Yeah, one other heirloom corn that I'm interested in trying. I've got a bottle on my desk of the new whiskey from Jephthah Creed with the blue corn.
Yep.
That Bruce Nethery put together on the farm and created a unique varietal for them to distill. And I've got a bottle of that. I'm interviewing Joyce in a couple of days, and I've got to taste that still.
Yeah, I think Bluegrass Distillers does a blue corn variety as well. They were at the Barbecue and Barrels at Owensboro, which is about an hour north of us, and they had their blue corn there that they put out. And I think they won an award for it from I don't recall if it was from the ADI show or if it was from the Ascot Awards, but one of those. I think they actually won an award for their blue corn through Bluegrass Distillery.
They were doing different colored corns pretty early on. Like I remember 10, 12 years ago or so, like when they were first getting started, they had at one point a red and a white and a blue, all kind of separate, which was pretty epic at that point in time. I don't hear much out of them anymore though, so I hope they're still doing all that cool stuff.
Yeah, I know they're still doing a blue. I'm not sure what they're doing on the other, but it's funny you said red, white, and a blue. How come none of us had come up with doing a red, white, and blue corn for the 250 release?
Oh, I'm sure somebody did. I'm getting 8,000 emails a day about the 250th commemoration bottle.
Because somebody would have had to come up with the idea 4 or 5 years ago.
Well, Ted Huber came up with it a long time ago, so I have no idea, but we were already blending red, white, and blue, so let's wait and see what happens there. I have no idea.
Creed has a yearly red, white, and blue release. That's a whole thing. I'm sure there are at least 5 of them. At least.
Okay.
Wow.
All right, Tyler, what else we got?
From Dave Renstrom, a non-whiskey related question. What is your favorite album, and maybe particularly on vinyl?
Ooh. Well, so
let me just say real quick. I went golfing with Whitney, and they played some. Played the funkiest Spotify music. I will say this now, and we'll maybe talk about this in Google Meets, guys. I'm just saying,
we had a blast.
Yeah, we had a blast. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Whitney.
Yeah, so I have a huge playing field of music. Let me just put it that way. So I can go from Snoop Dogg to Merle Haggard to Christian contemporary music. So I have a whole plethora of music. But Marlene, being from Texas, I'm gonna have to go with one of my favorite bands. It has been for the last several years. It's Whiskey Myers, coming out of Texas. And man, my buddies all give me a bunch of crap about it because they're not like as big of fans as I am. But I honestly, I think there's one song that Whiskey Myers has put out that I don't like. All the rest of them, I could jam to them all day and never think twice about it. So I'd have to say Whiskey Myers is kind of my go-to right now. So
I'm going to go with a classic. Jazz classic, Miles Davis, Kind of Blue.
Ooh, there you go.
All right.
That's a good
There
one.
you go.
I have a pretty massive physical media collection. I probably have 1,000 records and probably just as many CDs.
Oh crap!
I have 6 full stereo systems in my house.
Holy shit!
I had my audiophile rock bottom when I was listening to the Beatles on an Alexa Dot one time, and I was like, "Where's the rest of the song? Oh God, what have I done?" And so I started hoarding physical media and stereo equipment. I would say I'm gonna have 3 favorite albums of all time. Okay, so one of them is Crosby, Stills and Nash, their self-titled album.
Yeah.
That was my first concert that I went to. Love them. Number 2 is going to be, it's a toss-up between Joni Mitchell, Miles of Isles, the concert album, and Joni Mitchell. Oh no, I'm blanking on the name of the album. But it's a Joni Mitchell album for sure. And then number 3 on CD, coming in at number 3, is Pretty Hate Machine, 9 Inch Nails. I saw 9 Inch Nails live in concert.
Yes, there you go. 9 Inch Nails. Yes.
That's quite the
quite a
turnaround there.
spread. Quite a spread.
Right.
Yes.
Eclectic.
Exactly.
Bill, what do you got?
Well,
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Maggie.
Yeah. So if Maggie's on this end on the spectrum of music, I'm probably on this end, right? But I guess there's a couple things I would say is, we just put together a Spotify playlist for the 4th of July for our 250th bottle, right? My wife put it together. It's on Spotify, Bourbon Country USA. So it's a new group that if you're on your 4th of July weekend, you want to listen to that, and hopefully you're buying our 250th. I know Maggie's getting a whole bunch of requests for them, but I'm an 80s guy, right? So Guns N' Roses, Appetite for Destruction. If you had to pick an album, I'm all about the 1980s, right? So I'm an 80s guy, but currently I'm into country music, and Bourbon Country USA on Spotify. That little playlist we put together and my wife put together, I think it's been a lot of fun recently.
Oh, nice. Very good.
Yeah.
Bill, you don't look like a Nilly Vanilli kind of guy. I'm just saying.
Well, no, I wouldn't say Milli Vanilli, but Bon Jovi was big back then, right? Journey, I like Journey. I like all those guys, right? Yeah, I don't know. That's a little bit okay, but Guns N' Roses, man, you can't go wrong with Guns N' Roses.
So my second least favorite question after what is your favorite whiskeys? What is your favorite? I love whiskey. I love music. And part of the reason I joke with Walter Zausch is that the reason he hired me is because, we had a couple long talks and we were talking about different stuff. And one of my hobbies is going to concerts by myself. And so we're talking about something. He goes, well, maybe we can start next week. I'm like, I can. I'm going to 3 concerts next week. So anyway, he is big believer in local musicians, trying to support people. One of our philanthropic projects is Musicians Treatment Fund. So musicians that don't have health insurance, if they need carpal tunnel surgery or shoulder surgery, so they can continue their careers and continue playing. That's what it supports. And so, he's been doing this for years. So there's a group called Underwater Sunshine in New York City, a music festival. And so since I'd lived in New York for almost 6 years, he's like, come with me, and I'm like, I'm so busy, like, I can't. And he's like, he calls me from New York, he's, get on a plane, come out here. And we spent 2 days in Adam Derwitz's apartment, Counting Crows, right? Like his bathroom.
Oh yeah.
And
Holy
all
crap.
these, and he was like, his like living room is like, it's a stage. And so he's got all these up and coming young artists and things like that. And Walter calls me, he's like, because he'd already moved to the venue for the rehearsal. And he's like, come here. And I knew John Leventhal, he's Roseanne Cash's wife, but he was a huge Widow Jane fan. He used to come out and drink some whiskey. Right. And I just didn't make a big deal about it because, anyway, he'd bring some other musician friends and things. And so Walter's like, John's going to be there and Roseanne's going to be there. And like, okay. And I've never met her. And so anyway, Elvis Costello walks up to me and goes, I'm sorry, we haven't met.
You got to be kidding me.
The music thing is, for years I needed to dial it down. It's like, I love music so much. It's like, so I was chasing old guitarists for a while when I was traveling to different cities and stuff, so it's just seeing Paul McCartney and Robin Trower and Frampton and Clapton again. And just like going through all of the, Jeff Beck a couple times before he passed and Buddy Guy. And anyway, so I was doing all that. And then yeah. And Madison Square Garden, you can always get a last minute ticket for cheap. So anyway, how's I have no favorite album.
Well, I mean, why would
I love whiskey and I love country. So that was the thing. I got divorced a couple of years ago. So I had a whole country year, right?
Oh yeah. That's a great genre for
right. Yeah, Whiskey Myers, Tyler Childers, Jason Isbell. Yeah, you just went on. That was my whole year that year after.
I'm sure you all have heard the joke, what happens when you play country music?
Oh, yes.
Your truck starts running again, your dog comes home. Yeah.
100%. So anyway, sorry about the long roundabout answer to your
No, you're great. No, that's awesome. Great. Marlene, what you got?
Yeah, so Charlie, Jeff, I'm just telling you, the next time we do this, I'm not following Lisa, okay? So just a heads up on that, okay?
You, Marlene, I'm a groupie.
So, I'm a child of the 60s. So picture it, 55 years ago, I'm 15 years old. My older sister, her and her boyfriend, it's a Friday or a Saturday afternoon, and she's like, hey, we're Lebanon, Kentucky. Now, Lebanon, Kentucky is where Independence State is located, one of their facilities. There was an old honky tonk, really not a honky tonk, but a club, and it was on the circuit back then, and all the rock and rollers, Club 68. So anybody that, was in that area knew that Club 68 was a pretty cool place to go to. So her and her boyfriend's going there. She's like, hey, come along with us. And I'm like, I'm 15 years old. I can't even get in. She's like, don't worry about it. You'll get in. And so we go and, we get a table, and it is so smoky in there. Like you can hardly see your hand in front of your face. And so this band comes up on the stage and starts playing. So I make my way up, and I thought, these folks are, they are really, really good. Well, it was Ike and Tina Turner.
Oh my gosh. So, you beat me hands down, Marlene. Yeah.
I know. So, at 15 years old, I'm standing, and, at that time they, were just really getting started, probably had been, out touring around maybe, for a few years, but that was pretty cool. So I've always been a Tina Turner fan. I just think, that lady's she's just a badass when it comes
and she still has great legs.
I know, right? She truly
Simply
does.
the best, right?
Yeah.
Marlene, when I was distilling for Steve Beam, all of that was legendary. I have never met anyone that was actually there with. I've heard so many like stories about. You're the first person I've ever met that was actually there when they played. That's fantastic.
Oh yeah, I mean it was it was a really popular place. There's no telling who all as far as folks, in the 60s and 70s that played at Club 68. But, it was a pretty lively place, but it was pretty cool. So Tina Turner's been one share. And I can't think of the names of their albums right off the top of my head, but they've always been, front and center with me. And then Creedence Clearwater. I just love what those guys do. I'm an old rocker at heart, and my car, the car radio is on classic rock. I don't think it'll even move off of that channel because but that would be my choice.
Wow, man! I tell you what, this is the best time I've ever had.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised I didn't hear any blues out of anybody. I mean, blues is kind of, tied with all the bourbon and whiskey and all the speakeasies and everything. I mean, I'm a big blues guy,
but didn't have any favorite albums.
Okay.
I could get my son up here. My son's a jazz drummer. He's really into jazz and the blues, so he's got a whole jazz and blues collection, vinyl collection.
Okay.
Nice.
Very cool.
So, I mean, we appreciate everybody being on. I tell you what, this is a star-studded cast, and you guys should be commended. I mean, you guys are so successful in your own ways, and man, what a privilege it is to have you guys on the screen. I can't not thank you enough for you guys coming on tonight. That's great. But we do have one more question from Tyler, and then we have a closeout question. Tyler, go ahead and go with that.
So this second to last question should be a pretty quick one. For all of you, when you're out on the town and you don't see your own spirit behind the bar, what is your go-to pour?
And then for the media people, just in general, right?
Yeah.
Jeez. I seen that come across the chat while ago, and I thought, man, I hope they don't like that.
Yeah.
It all depends on the bar, and there's just too many varieties out there. Depends on the mood, depends on the day you're having. I mean, there's so many things to it. But man, I tell you anymore, I really look, like I've said it earlier, I try to find something that I've never had. I try to find a smaller brand, and I'm not trying to knock the big guys, but we're a smaller brand, so I always try to support the smaller brands. Yeah. So I'm always trying to find something that's just a little bit different. That's a smaller brand, whether you like it or not, and try to go from that. But I mean, I've got a lot of different things. I mean, I've got some Jeff the Creed stuff. I've got some stuff from Wilderness Trail. I've got stuff from the Bard Distillery. I've got stuff from MB Roland. I mean, there's just a plethora of them. I mean, I can't really name one. I'm typically a weeder guy. Obviously, we do a lot of weeded bourbons. I'm more of a weeder guy. I like a little bit sweeter hit to it than a little bit of that peppery stuff that you get from the rye. But I can't even name one, honestly. It all just depends on the bar and what's there. I mean, sometimes you don't have no choice. Depending on the bar you're at, you may have to go with Maker's Mark, and that's not enough. It's what you got to do, I mean, I've tried some old Granddad that's here lately that's been pretty good, and I've tried Wathans. I mean, there's just a lot of different things out there, so.
Sure.
I would say if I go with something, I typically go with a weeded bourbon. I'll just put it at that.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go. Mark, what you got?
I don't drink whiskey at bars because
really,
because I've got a better selection at home than any bar, and bars are overpriced.
Yes,
a fact. That is a fact.
So I generally will go for a craft beer. I'll try to find something local.
Right. Yeah. Favorite craft beer then?
So Mark, you're from you're from the Indiana area. You ever had a 6 foot tall blonde from the from Nashville or from the Nashville area up there?
No, they started brewing after I left town.
Okay. Well, if you're ever back in town, a 6 foot tall blonde, maybe even put an orange slice on it. It's a good beer to have up there.
I'll give it a try. By the way, hey, I just noticed something. Nancy Fraley joined the chat.
Yes, she did. I saw that. I was going to bring that up.
Wow. Okay, I was like, why is everybody talking about Nancy Fraley?
Yeah, I'm going. Nancy Fraley's in the chat, and all respect to Nancy.
Hey, Nancy.
Absolutely, of course, right?
And I understand congratulations are in order for her retirement.
From one brand. She's
From
as
one
far
brand,
as I
right.
know, she's still working with a bunch of other brands.
Right.
Okay.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
So
And
my answer.
Nancy's the music person. I mean,
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I
'Cause
love.
Nancy
we
can
had a
play
whole-
it too.
Yeah, we had a whole conversation. She's got a collection of 78s. So
Yeah. Oh,
those are
yeah.
pretty
I've got a bunch of them myself. I got an old wind up Vitrola. Yeah.
Oh wow, that's interesting stuff there. So my answer to this question is I mirror Mark. Like if I'm off duty, I'm generally not drinking. If I am somewhere where I'm drinking, it's usually a cocktail. But if it's someplace where I just need to order a whiskey, God bless Maker's Mark. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
It's a safe choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get asked that question a lot. Well, what do you drink? And I say, well, I don't really like to drink anybody else except mine, right? So I admire. So what I say is I admire other brands, right? I really admire, Old Forester. I admire Nichters with their low barrel entry proof. And from a craft perspective, I really admire what Peerless has done, resurrecting their family brands. And if I see those, I would probably pick those. I mean, but generally, if I'm out, I drink so much whiskey. I don't really, you'll grab a Woodford and it's always there and you just kind of grab it and you go with it, or grab an old fashioned. And that's what I do.
Yeah. I'm kind of with Whitney. It depends, if it's the end of a work day, sometimes I just want a beer and a whiskey, right? And it might be old granddad 114.
That's it. Tell them, Lisa, tell them how some of them days go. It's like,
yes. Right. Yeah. And you don't want to think about it, right? I'm thirsty and I'm going to do this. But same thing. I mean, there's so much wonderful whiskey out there. It's so much fun to go through, sometimes I'll just my daughter owns and son-in-law on a bar here and, kind of go in and talk to them about what's popping up. And same thing, you go down to the Volstead, same thing, there's all kinds of different things to choose from. And the lovely liquor store on Main Street. Well, the name's coming on my Evergreen. And Wednesday night half price pours, so you can kind of go through and experiment, all kinds of different stuff to see what people are doing. There's so much good whiskey right now. I mean, there's really some really spectacular whiskey out on the market. But some of the best advice I got early on from the winemaker that trained me when I was still making wine, he's like, don't just drink your own juice because you're going to start to like it.
Absolutely.
And if you want to stay objective, right, it's
try different stuff.
Yeah. It's like getting used to your own cooking sometimes, right? It's probably better to eat somebody else's once in a while too, even if you're a good cook.
Yeah.
Then Marlene, what about you?
Yeah, so I'm in that camp as well. If I look for something that I haven't tried, I look on the back bar and I'd like to try and see what other folks are doing, what we're up against basically, and
Sure.
See what folks are doing. But, unfortunately, a lot of bars you go into, you're going to see the same 10 or 12, if it's a small bar or a restaurant or what have you, it's going to have, you'll see a lot of the same bottles sitting on that shelf. So I will generally go with either Knob Creek or Maker's Mark. One of the two. It just depends on the mood there. But yeah, I do enjoy trying the other craft whiskeys and to see how they taste.
No, very good. So for a closeout question, I think it's more about you guys individually. Once again, I know you guys repeated it at the very beginning, but let's spend a couple of minutes at least on each individual as far as who you guys are, what you guys have coming up, maybe in your guys' career, as far as either whether it's a expression or it's a podcast, article, whatever that might be. I think this would be a good time to kind of celebrate that as we all kind of close this out for tonight. So, Whitney, go ahead.
Well, obviously, thank you guys for having us on tonight. It's been a blast. I tell people all the time, everybody I talk to, they're like, well, let's just talk about whiskey. I said, well, you got a couple hours, because like I can talk about whiskey and talk about the distillery and talk about things we do every day and bore people till they're just like, are you tired of talking yet? I mean, when you live, eat, and breathe it every day, it's a whole different world. Mark and Maggie, they live it kind of from a different perspective, but they still live it through the experiences of the people that are, in the distillery, actually, boots on the ground type, kind of network there. So, but like for us, it's just, we're a small craft distillery. We started in 2017, started laying our first barrels down in 2018, and we've never sourced a single drop of product for co-pick, and that's that's something we've always kind of patted ourselves on the back for. And it's obviously it's not a knock to people that source things, because people do, and it's a different business profile than what we've done, and we've just been fortunate enough that our owner didn't have to do that. But it's just something we've kind of prided ourselves on, and as time's evolving, we're going to have a rye that's coming out. I hope to see it I don't know that we'll probably see it in 2026, because I just don't think it's there yet. But probably 2027, we're going to see some rye coming out. We've got a couple different rye mash bills that we run. We've got some different barrels that we've done, from double oaking in French oak to toasting French oak to finishing in French oak. We've done some different things with those barrels. So you're going to start seeing some things come out with us. We've taken the long road to get to the consumer side of things. Just because we didn't go the sourcing route, and we didn't have to, because that's just the background of the owner itself. So it just worked for us. But I want people to just get out and explore craft distilleries. I employ people to do that, because they don't realize the knowledge that's there, the hands-on, the craftsmanship that is involved in craft distilleries. And until you go out and see them, like Whiskey Thief and Mild and Green, go to some of these smaller craft distilleries in McBrayer and see what these folks are doing, and see how they're changing the industry, and learn from it. Research it, do your due diligence in what you're drinking every day, and see what craftsmanship's put into it, and just grow with the bourbon industry, and grow with us. And hey, if you got some kind of crazy idea, throw it out there. Heck, we're willing to try it. There's all kind of things that you can do, and just drink bourbon. I tell people all the time, there's no wrong way to drink bourbon. If you like drinking it with Coke, you got the best Coke that's ever been made. I don't say that you have to drink my bourbon. All I ask is that you drink bourbon.
Well, and that's the thing with a craft distiller. You have that ability to do those kind of things, to be able to adapt.
Flex a
little
bit.
And flex, right.
100%.
Yep.
Very good. Mark, what do you got?
Well, we're working on. I just spent the last couple of days in Minneapolis visiting the folks at O'Shaughnessy Distilling that make Keeper's Heart whiskey, and they're going to be coming out with something unusual this fall: a triple distilled, pot distilled rye whiskey. And this time next year, they'll be out with a triple distilled bourbon.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
Interesting.
Kind of, well, yeah.
You want to give us some insight on that?
That's the Irish whiskey kind of. That's the
Okay.
yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
Very cool. Well, I've got stories stacked on stories all the time. So you just got to get yourself that subscription to American Whiskey Magazine and Whiskey Magazine, and follow me on all the social media. Don't follow me on the social media if you're real sensitive, because I cuss a lot. I'm not what you would call polished.
Hey, you're in the right club. No worries.
Absolutely.
First off, I just want to say, Mark, thanks for all that you do. I've learned so much from your whiskey channel, your podcast about the industry.
Thank you, Bill.
Yeah, I mean, I love your interviews. Thank you for all you've done, not just for whiskey, but for bourbon, and for people like me that just want to learn about the industry. And thank you for being there. So
thank you, Bill.
I'm glad you're here tonight. As far as McBrayer, I've purchased about 150 acres of our old distillery site there in Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. the rail line that McBrayer put through that was the first rail line that comes through Anderson County. That was part of the distillery sites on our property. It's a Rails to Trails project for the city that's going to connect our property to Wild Turkey's property, who we helped TV Rippey get started in 1860. And so our next journey with our brands is to build out that piece of property and have a destination for you to come visit, hopefully store our barrels, do some bottling, maybe, and we'll do some distilling on a small scale. We'll probably still contract distill because, you know, a lot of people really make really good whiskey, and I don't need to learn how to do that right now. However, we want to be part of the Bourbon Trail, and we want to do that. And that's the next phase in our journey as we start to go down this path. And you know, we're 5 years into releasing a small amount of products, and we've got a few thousand barrels now aging, and we're going to keep doing this. And God willing, I'm going to do this for a long time, and this is going to be my passion project. And hopefully 20 years from now, we're still hanging out together and talking about where we're at. So, because bourbon's still going to be here. So,
yes,
you know,
it will.
right? And hopefully we're all here together and we're still talking.
Cheers to that.
And real
Thank
quick, I know I want to go on to Lisa. This may be now the extended version of Bourbon and Ballz. We'd love to welcome the one and only Nancy Fraley to the show. Nancy, welcome. Very good.
Hey, thank you. And I have to say, I actually am having bourbon and Coke right now, the remnants of my Coke, and so I'm making making some pork that will turn into pulled pork for supper here shortly.
You got the best tasting Coke that's ever been made, right there, right?
Oh my God, yeah! It's Mexican Coke. It's yeah.
Yeah. And then Nancy, congratulations to you on the announcement. I know Forbes did a nice article on it as far as your retirement. Happy retirement from
congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Yes. It's a little bit bittersweet, but you know, it's kind of sad going, but you know, I know, you know, great things are ahead for them, so that's great. But in the meantime, I'm just going to enjoy my bourbon Coke.
Very good. Lisa, real quick. So explain to the folks out there as far as what we can learn about what Whiskey Thief and even yourself personally, as far as what's going on.
Yeah, people just need to come see us. It's a different, like, you know, it's just a one of a kind experience. When Walter was first talking to me about coming to work for me, he's like, you know, you got to come to the farm, and I got to talk to you some more. It's like, what's happening here, right? And so tour buses like to bring their people at the end of the day. It's like, I kind of joke, it's like taking kindergartners to the zoo, because they just come and they're everywhere. And so, but we have organized tours, and so you can, like, you know, you can sign up for that. We're open 7 days a week, so you can, you know, reserve a tour if you want to. But Walter had the brilliant move to always leave space for walk-ins. And so we're open 7 days. So when people don't understand the Whiskey Trail or, you know, Kentucky Bourbon Trail, and they show up on a Sunday night and find out the distilleries are closed and that there's this whole reservation system that they may or may not be able to get in a week. People send them to us all the time, right? We're really grateful for that. But, you know, Wild Turkey and Buffalo Trace and everything's like, okay, you missed your tour time, but guess what? You've got time to run over to Whiskey Thief before your next tour at the next place, right?
Oh,
or
nice.
come fill in it. We have Adirondack chairs. We've got a food truck open this time of year from Thursdays through Sundays. We always have live music on Fridays and Saturdays. And there's no charge for that or cost for that. We always have cocktails available. So if you're like had enough tasting for the day, you can still come and eat and drink with us and sit outside at the, you know, there's always a fire going in the fire pit, and cornhole and goats. We have goats.
I was gonna say, you got plenty of goats.
You got the dog.
You got the dog and the cat. Yeah.
Dogs. Yeah, we're dog friendly too. So if you're traveling with your dog, you can come. But yes, you know, Walter's really built a beautiful experience, and it's you know, it's authentic, and people feel it. You know, it's really genuine. And then in our Nulu site in Louisville too, the same thing. It was like an old axe throwing venue, and Walter bought it. And anyway, and so that it's, you know, we've got a cocktail program there and live music there. Every Thursday night's jazz night. We've got music on Fridays and Saturdays. We do a lot at Christmas time. There's some special ticket events. We've had everybody from Mike Stern, who was, originally the drummer for Blood, Sweat, and Tears, and then went into jazz drumming after that. I think with oh gosh, I'm going to get the wrong musician. But anyway, so like I said, music's really one of the cores. We have Whiskey Thief Fest every fall. This year, if you're into bluegrass at all, Grammy Award winner Michael Cleveland was our headliner.
That's awesome.
It was fantastic, right? So anyway, but come see us, and then you'll figure out. We have people that come that it's like, oh my gosh, this is like my 7th trip to Whiskey Thief, because we go everywhere else, but we always know we can come here and kind of relax after the end of the day. So yeah, come see us.
Yeah,
I need you.
Marlene, what you got?
Yeah, so we just released for about 3 years now on a quarterly basis. We have released a wildlife series, and so some of the proceeds from those bottle sales go to the Texas parks and here in the state. And so we just released the most recent one, actually just a few days ago, the Live Oak. And it's really fabulous, and it's available now. I think the proof on that one was about 23 and some change. So we do have pot stills that we operate here in Blanco, and then we've got our Kentucky whiskey that we blend and batch with also. So this live oak that just recently come out is a 7-year-old. That is our Kentucky juice. But one of the cool things about these wildlife series is that we bring these barrels down to Blanco and let them age out the last 3 or 4 years. Additionally, here in the heat in Texas. So, that's always been a big thing with us, has been the environment and the climate and how that affects what happens in that barrel. And so we'll continue to do that. We have an American whiskey that we're going to release. We're super excited about for 4th of July, 250 years celebration. And we're just going to keep on doing, what we've been doing. We've got another climate experiment that we're working on currently, and that should be wrapped up here in a few months. And we've got a tasting room here at our distillery. You can come in. We've got live music on the weekends, cocktails, bring a picnic out. We've got 2 large live oak trees that you can sit under and enjoy some great local live music. Bring a picnic with you. You can have cocktails or a flight and take a tour of the distillery. So yeah, there's always something going on, and it gets pretty spirited on Saturdays in particular at our distillery. So yeah, come visit us.
I promise you, Marlene, before this is all over, as far as whatever our whiskey journey is,
yes,
I'm going to fly out there, and we're definitely going to see you guys.
Yes,
yes, you guys are welcome anytime. All of you, come see us.
Yeah.
So Nancy, you got brought up because we talked about music a moment ago, and you would think I contacted you about whiskey, which of course we would, but we touched up on the subject of music. And Tyler, do you have that question again, or do we remember what that question was as far as?
It was your favorite album, or if you have a favorite vinyl.
There we go.
Oh boy. Well, I was going to say, first of all, I was watching behind the scenes, and I was not going to jump on it initially until that question came up. And at some point, I would love to hear what all of you all have to say about how music, if it influences your work. That's something that I'm just personally really interested in. If it influences your creativity, kind of how it crosses the line over, to your whiskey production. So that, I don't know if you all want to do a future episode on that, but I would love that if everyone's game for it.
That sounds like a great idea.
Love it.
I'm kind of with Lisa in that it's really hard for me to nail down a particular album. I think when Maggie mentioned Crosby, Stills and Nash, that epic album, yeah, I mean, I can just see so many there are just so many albums and so much music that's affected my, whole life, from Bob Marley and the Wailers to Leonard Skinner, the Beatles. I just got back from a trip to Liverpool, England, to kind of do the whole Beatles thing. And so I don't know, it's that's maybe a cop-out answer, but it really kind of exceeds the scope of this. But tonight. But I would really love at some point to just kind of hear how music affects everyone's creativity. If it does, if you're, I don't know about you all, but when I'm blending, I listen to music. I have to have music on to be able to work.
Nancy, can I ask you if when you're blending or tasting whiskey, does certain musics make it taste different?
Yeah, that's a good question. It usually needs to be something that I feel pumped for, if that makes sense. That really kind of, I don't know what to say, but really rocks. I mean, I'm a rock and roll, gal, I guess. Hard like it. You know what?
I'd love to hang out with you then.
Yourself as a rock and roll kind of gal, and that's absolutely how I see myself too. Just
Bill, I'll say there's a lot of times I put my earbuds in. I'm in the rick house by myself. I put the earbuds in, and obviously for phone calls for the most part, because my phone never stops ringing. But for the most part, listening to music it's not necessarily changing like my taste profile, but sometimes I feel like your mood, the mood that you're in when you're tasting a product, will change the way you look at it.
Mm-hmm.
And people will look at people not in this industry look at it and go, what did you just say? Like your mood changes, but it does. So I grew up, my father was like a big 70s rock and roll. So like Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band, CCR that Marlene talked about earlier, and Boston and Chicago, all those bands, like that's what I grew up on. So there's days that I go back and I'm like, all right, we're going to pick a small batch today. Let's go back to the heritage of what I grew up on and listen to that music. And it doesn't necessarily change your palate per se, but it just kind of sets the mood to say like, hey, here's what I want to do for the day, and just be mellow with it, and just not necessarily jam out to like Metallica or Five Finger Death Punch or whatever. Get yourself in a mood where you can focus and be like, I hope my phone don't ring in the next 5 minutes. I'll figure it out now. But I look at it that way because I'm a big music person. I listen to the radio 99% of the time that my eyes are open. I'm listening to music. So.
Yeah.
Well, now I have to tell you all what I did today. I'm working on a story about bourbon musicians, people
nice
who play instruments. So I was out at Heaven Hill today in a rick house with Adam Edwards playing his tuba.
I saw that.
Wow, that sounds like fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Oh, that's cool.
We were up on a high floor, and he was playing the tuba, and we came down, and there was a barrel pick, and they were like, "Oh, I guess that was you."
As a former tuba player, I approve.
So, Nancy, did you go to the cavern?
Yes. Yeah. Actually, I was there 25 years ago. When I was in law school, I did a summer abroad at Trinity University in Dublin and Charles University in Prague. And while I was there, on the way, I spent a week in Liverpool. I'm that kind of fan, where I go and see their childhood homes and all that.
Yep.
I stayed, where the in Florida, where the Van Zandt brothers grew up, and it's a bed and breakfast now. I have gone there a few times. I mean, I'm that kind of fan that I want to see what inspired them, and I find that it inspires me in my work, or creativity too. And so anyway, I'm just really interested at some point in kind of, hearing how that affects other people, because I think we're all music lovers here.
Very
Yeah, you're right. We are, and I think Nancy, you hit something on the head. Is like I wouldn't mind spending an episode, maybe down the road where we kind of do this roundtable again. We didn't really know what to expect, and
No, we didn't.
Everybody, I would love for them to come back, and maybe we talk about things other than whiskey, because we have other things than just whiskey in our lives,
right?
That we're all interested in, and music, I think, brings everybody together, right?
Yeah.
We kind of witnessed that in the last 20 minutes.
We did a part 1 today. Maybe we do a part 2 in a couple months. Yeah.
But to each and every one of you, Nancy, I appreciate you coming on, and Marlene, Lisa, Bill, Whitney, Mark, Maggie, you guys have all been a part of, and we all appreciate you guys for coming on Bourbon and Ballz when you had no reason to come on, and you still don't have no reason to come on. But, we appreciate you guys coming on. We love each and every one of you guys, and I really appreciate what you guys do for the bourbon community and whatever fashion that you guys do it. There's no community like the bourbon community, and you guys are a quintessential part of everything that we do. So thank you for you guys coming.
Thank you guys.
For having us on.
Yeah.
Enjoyed
it.
Yes. And you're right. It was epic. And we have several questions that we were not able to get to. So what we're going to do is we do this all the time. We'll create a Discord channel, and we'll send you a link, and we will put the questions in Discord. And if you have the time, answer the questions, you can respond and just communicate with all the different viewers that are out there that are asking the questions if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Sure.
Sounds great.
I'd love to do this again. Maybe we'll do this a semi-annual kind of thing, and get get you all back on. I could listen to you guys for hours and just kind of. I kind of wish this was on a different channel, actually, because that way I could
you're gonna get the old band back together.
Yes, there you go.
Bringing it back. Bringing the band back. You're right.
Really, if we do the music thing, you think I can get there and sit with me and maybe wear a turtleneck or something like what we've done?
Yeah.
We'll wear a tux next time.
Yeah.
We're wearing ascots, I think, as Maggie's saying, right?
Yeah, but we're all with all right. Well, hey, thank you guys for coming on. We'll definitely do this again.
Yeah.
Appreciate your time, guys.
Thank you.
Awesome. Bye, you
Thanks,
guys.
guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
That was
cool.
That was fantastic.
Unbelievable.
That was good. That was some knowledge for everybody.
Yes.
And this is something that you probably want to replay and kind of watch over again. And we thank each and every. And I forgot, we failed to mention too, is like each person that was on the night, they had their own individual episode that they came on. All these people have been on Bourbon and Ballz before.
Right.
They're not new.
No, they're not new to us, and that's kind of how we brought them back. So feel free to go back and watch our live streams where we have each and every one of them on our show for a specific interview. But nevertheless, what a great night. Man, that was great. And I appreciate everybody showing up tonight.
Yes.
We felt this was a special night for us, and it is, and we continue to do this every week. Where we bring on distillers and whatnot. It's just we happen to grab a handful of people that we truly appreciate coming on.
Yeah, we kind of brainstormed. It was like, what can we do that nobody else has really done?
Yeah.
And it's like, why don't we gather some industry experts?
Yeah.
And let's talk about what's going on.
Sure.
What do they do?
So
to do it.
Yeah.
Let's get through the
Appreciate
night because I still want to do a little bit of Google Meets. I know it's kind of shortened it, but Tyler, let's do the hashtag game of. We have quite a few hashtags to do, so let's get through the first one first. Hashtag BNB to get through the first one, and those samples are all going to be the same. We're going to run this probably about 3 or 4 times.
Yep.
For you guys coming on tonight, and you guys will get a sample of each distiller that was on tonight.
Right.
So Tyler, let's go with number 1 here. Hashtag BNB. Let's roll that. Let's get this going.
And you do have to still be here.
Yes.
So,
all right.
Yep.
Let's roll. There we go. I feel like I should have had a tuxedo on tonight.
That's what I said. We should probably have tuxes on next time.
Dude, that's where I was like pinching myself. I'm like,
Hillbilly
"God,
Logic
really?"
Trio.
There we
Hey,
go.
Rick Moreland, are you on, sir? If you are, collect your prize. Rick Moreland, are you on, brother?
Rick.
And let's not forget about what we got coming up here next week. We got a very special show coming up on Tuesday.
Yes, with Whiskey Nose.
Whiskey Nose. We'll be kind of teaming up with those guys,
8 p.m.
and we will
Eastern,
have
we'll be on for a special live stream. on
special
Tuesday.
live stream with Mr. McBrayer, who is on tonight.
We'll be on again.
Yep, with a special release that we're going to be talking about. I think we
Yeah,
talked a little bit about tonight.
Other news about that, but I'll let Marty talk about that on Monday.
Okay.
On Tuesday.
And then on Thursday, on our normal night, we have J.W. Kelly that will be here. Going to be talking about some of their stuff. Hillbilly is here.
Yeah,
cool.
very good. So,
all right.
Tyler, run another hashtag. We're going to do this like 3 more times.
Can we just run the same one?
Oh, you know what? Let's do that. Hashtag B&B.
We'll
Let's just do the same one. We'll do it. Well, yeah, that way we'll be all right.
Our second winner
All right, let's do that.
is.
It's much easier doing it that way.
Yep.
Did you remove?
Dan
Dan Saban.
Dan Saban.
Man.
All right.
And let's
Congrats,
give the ones that are here, a few seconds. If you want to get into this,
You
it's
still can right now.
hashtag B&B.
Yep.
And
then $5 super chat if you guys are interested.
Right.
You guys can get actually a full bottle of any of the guest distillers that were on. Also, on top of that, you will get a 1-year subscription to American Whiskey Magazine, and hopefully we'll see Maggie in it.
Well, absolutely you will.
I understand. I'm just saying. So, all right, Stan, are you here?
Yes,
he is it. All right, let's
Stan's
write him
there.
down. Let's move on to the third spin.
All right.
There we go.
And our third winner is.
Like,
Oh, Harold McAdory.
yes, are you here, brother? Just say something.
Say yay.
I appreciate you guys coming
Got
on.
it.
I believe Harold's probably on somewhere.
Yeah.
Harold, are
He's
you here, brother?
around.
We're always on a 7-second delay. Let's see if Harold says
there he
this.
is.
Yes, he's
There
here.
he
All right,
is.
let's roll the last one.
Congrats, Harold.
Let's draw again, and then this will be the last of the free giveaways, and then we'll go on to the super chat. You can set all that up, right? Okay. Princess approved. All right.
Princess approved.
Very good. Princess
There
approved.
you
Are
go.
here?
Hopefully she's here tonight.
Big money, no whammy. Well, you know what? We haven't done the super chat
Yeah,
yet.
we have not done the super
The
chat.
big one.
That's a big one.
And then those who are new to the show,
There she is.
there you go. We got them all here.
Congratulations.
Those who are new to the show on the $5 super chat, you also have access to the mailbox code.
That's right.
Ooh, yeah.
For those who have watched before,
Gandy's
you
mailbox.
guess a 3-digit code. If you get it correct, you will get a hat. So,
And Charlie, before that,
You're wearing
we have to talk about mayhem at the 500.
That's
crap,
right.
Yes. So
Yes.
for those who, real quick, I'm sorry, there's a bunch of games we're going to run. We need a spin. So for those, again, I know a few of you guys are on here that haven't been on here before. Through our Patreon, we do a murder mystery game, and then this month we run it for a month, and then at the end of the month you submit your answers, almost like a clue game. And then if you're right and the multiple people are right, you put into a drawing and you win free samples. A lot of people got the answer correct. This is the most people we ever got.
You made it too easy, Charlie. You did. You made it too easy.
No.
Well,
people are just that.
So
that's
the story
right. Okay,
was-
that's right.
People
You're
are
right. You're
just
right.
that
You're right.
good,
My bad.
Jeff.
Tyler
Yeah, my
was the
bad.
character of the story. He was in the Indy 500. He crashed in like the last turn, and someone had basically sabotaged it. And Chad, you were the killer.
Of course, he
You
was.
know what?
So how did you sabotage?
To be
it?
expected.
It's in the Patreon. The answers are in the Patreon. But nevertheless, I got the answers in the wheel. Let's spin the wheel.
Yes.
See who win the the mayhem at 500 murder
People
mystery, and
know
a
me
new
all
one will
too
come
well.
out.
That's what it is. People know me all
A
too
new
well.
one will come out next month. We'll have another game played, and this is for our paid Patreons. All right, very good.
Right. And the winner.
And all these people got the answers correct. And looks like it is Patrick. Patrick,
Mr.
you
Willardoo.
win the sample giveaway for the murder mystery. Thanks for filling that out, and we'll put a new game out in June.
And we'll get samples out to you in a couple days.
Yes, and then Tyler, you want to go ahead and set up the super chats?
Yep. And if you guys want to go ahead.
Yeah, while he does that, I got a few things to go over real quick for our viewers. Real quick, last weekend we did a barrel pick.
Fantastic barrel pick.
Fantastic barrel pick with Circle City. And I got to be honest with you,
sample?
we picked a bottle that I did not think we would ever pick.
Oh no, I would never have thought
in a million years.
In a million years, we'd have done this.
So we picked a bottle that is 7.5 years, finished in a Syrah barrel. Now, before you kind of like about it, do the same thing. I do not like wine finishes. However, this thing is a banger. And we finally got the cost set up, all that kind of stuff. Order form for our patrons will go out actually tomorrow. You'll get something in the email for our patrons. They'll have first dibs of it. They're limited bottles. I expect it to sell out, but nevertheless, it is a Syrah. It's going to be at $90 for paid patrons. If it happens to make it outside of that, it'll be $100 for non-paid patrons.
But you guys went through how many barrels?
We went through 9 barrels to get to where we're at.
Yeah, and I'm not a big wine or port finish type. I mean, because usually they're too dry or they're too bitter or whatever. It's wine.
Yeah.
No offense to wine drinkers.
Yeah, there was 8 people on the pick.
Right, and
the most
7 out of 8 picked this
so.
bottle to be.
And I think the other person picked it second.
Picked it second. That's right. Yeah. Yep.
It was a great pick. So that will be out in probably about 4 weeks is what I'm being told. So tomorrow, look out for the email or look out for the post. We'll go ahead and start taking pre-orders for that.
You know, if you're looking for a buttery, just a real viscous bourbon, this is unreal.
Yeah,
unreal.
It's a great pick.
Yeah.
I'm very happy with it.
Yep.
All right. So then next Tuesday, we have a special live stream with Marty, Toby, and the rest of the gang from Whiskey Nose. We are going to be an all-day Bill McBrayer day. We ought to just, you know what? If I was like the mayor, I'd give him
the key to
Bourbon and Ballz.
Yep.
I'd give Bill the keys to Bourbon and Ballz. It's a McBrayer day on Tuesday, fellas. If you haven't heard of him, my God, you're going to hear about it on Tuesday.
Yes.
It's going to be an all-day McBrayer stream.
No, Bill's coming out, man. Like he is.
Yeah.
There is so much going on.
This is the year of the McBrayer.
I believe it is. Yeah.
With this new Judge 250, I got to quit calling it that, but you know what? Screw it. I'll call it that. The Judge 250. It's a fantastic bottle. For those who are going to watch on Tuesday, we have a little surprise for you all with us and Marty and Toby from Whiskey Nose. We will have a special password for you guys to purchase the bottle ahead of Friday's release. So you never know. You're going to want to tune in to get that password.
Yes.
$99 is the bottle. Plus you pay shipping, yada, yada. But we've already tasted it. We've had this bottle for a little while. It's a fantastic bottle.
It is fantastic.
Tuesday is a special live stream. It's an all-day McBrayer, and further instructions will follow where we're going to go on. We're going to start here at Bourbon and Ballz at 8 o'clock, and then we're magically going to end on Marty's stream at 9 o'clock, and therefore.
And we'll migrate everybody over somehow, some way.
Yes, very good. No, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Trying everybody together.
And that's how I got to know We got to know Marty and their gang because their love for McBrayer.
Yeah.
You don't look just like swing a dead cat and hit somebody with. I forget what. No, it's an expression.
I never
swing a dead cat.
I never heard that expression.
No, never heard that.
Come on, Chad, come on. You swing a dead cat and you hit something.
I've never heard that.
You guys, come on.
I've heard a blind squirrel gets a nut every now and then.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Chat. No.
Jeff. No.
Chat. Back me up on this.
Swing a dead cat?
Yeah.
Really?
That means you swing a dead cat and you hit something. You're bound to hit something.
But a blind squirrel gets a nut every now and then, right?
I
never heard of that.
I would probably anyway.
Anyway, my point is Everybody knows McBrayer. And they
Welcome
will
to
buy
Bourbon and Ballz, everybody.
Oh, welcome to our
Shitty
our
show.
everything. You never know what you're gonna get. Swinging dead cat.
I bet you someone in chat will say something about it.
Oh,
I'm not going. I didn't
you
make it
want
up.
somebody.
I didn't make it
sure,
up.
I'm sure you
Did
did.
you get Barlow?
Oh, geez. Oh, good lord.
You know what? The swinging dead cat. Come on, people. People thought about this shit. Come on.
I don't know.
I'm
let
looking
the
at
chat.
Oh man.
Let the chat. Maybe I'm an anomaly. I don't know.
Okay,
You're not.
I could be.
As far as Venmo, Elijah Craig, give him 2.
Hey, Scott Gallagher in chat is backing me up.
Is he?
That's one person.
All right, Scott.
All right,
You got some street cred, bro.
Mr. Saban, give him 2.
The Broad Branch wheel. We can't. Oh,
That's right. We got the
All
broad
right,
branch
we got
girl.
the mailbox too.
You got Mr. Sabic for 2.
Okay, can I?
Come on.
I don't even have that ready.
All right. I understand. No, but
Corey for 1.
Yeah, we gotta run the Broad Branch. Damn it.
Give Elijah Craig 2 more. Mr. Vogelsang,
Gandy's like, I'm just glad the guests are gone. So am I. Actually, you know what? Bill and Whitney are
give
in the
him
background
5.
right now.
Mr.
I don't know
Vogelsang.
why they are. I don't know why they're still hanging out.
Oh,
This monstrosity. I bet they know.
because
About
they
I bet
love-
they know about the swing.
they're just sitting back eating the popcorn.
Christy
now. They
Romine,
don't have to,
give her
like,
4.
do anything. They don't have to perform. They're just sitting back eating the goods,
I'm not making that up.
enjoying the show.
I swear I'm not making that up.
I think you are.
I swear. Anyway,
Uh,
but Scott did back you up. So
By the
I will
way,
say-
Jerry Romine, give him
He
4 as
knows
well.
his stuff.
So I believe we are all caught up on the Venmos.
All right. Thank you guys for
Hey, I appreciate everybody for joining us
contributions
tonight.
and hanging with us as long as you have.
Yeah.
Yep.
Especially a shout out to all of our guests tonight. I mean, this
Yes.
was something
Oh my God.
we've never done before, and I don't think anybody else has really kind of tackled this either.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're happy or glad or whatever that we were the first
I
to
don't
kind
know
of.
if they're happy or glad.
I don't know if they're happy or not,
I'm
but
sure they are.
I'm hoping everybody that watched tonight is. But we will do this again. I don't know how soon we'll do it again, but
No, we'll do that.
we'll definitely do this again. And if we have the same guests, great. If not, we'll pepper somebody else in. But shout out to Maggie and Mark and
Real quick, we still have 2 stragglers. I don't know why they're still around. Let's bring them back on.
Uh-oh.
there we
Bring 'em
go.
on. Do they want to be on? They're probably like,
Why are you still on?
sit back.
They're back.
Why do you just want to
I've
sit back?
never laughed so hard in my life, Charlie. Swing a dead cat. I'm like, what?
Oh,
I sent you a text. It's real. I sent you a text. It's on there.
See?
Okay. All right. Maybe I'm all right. I'm in the wrong.
I'm just not a hill jack.
Bill, I'm coachable. Whitney, I'm coachable. So I'm willing to understand and listen.
It must be that
What's the
Appalachian
word? So
I
thank
don't
you for
know.
the understanding. Never heard it.
Okay, well,
But-
Bill or Whitney, explain the swing of the dead cat.
I don't know what it means, but it's real. I texted it to you. I Googled it. I'm like, what does that hell does that mean? It said you can't swing a dead cat without hitting something. It was real. Like you have it. Yeah, it's real.
You know what?
It's an old saying.
I will own
You're
it.
an old soul, Charlie. Charlie, you're an old soul.
I am an
Thank
old
you
soul.
guys,
Very old
Scott,
soul.
Right?
Bill, Whitney, for your knowledge.
See, and someone in chat, Luke said that swinging dead cat is a thing in Arizona.
Okay.
It is.
I don't.
All right. Never heard it, but thank you.
You know what? I'm just enjoying it. I was having some of this bourbon. I haven't had anything to drink for about a week, so I'm just sitting here drinking and I'm watching you guys and I'm laughing, having a good time.
He's like, God, you're bringing me back on? Like, I thought I was
Yep.
off this thing.
Kind
You're
of
just
sitting and
enjoying the show.
I'm sitting here
Can
sipping
we
some of your
Venmo for a
250.
duck race?
Here's what I got to say, though, guys. I think on Tuesday when I'm on, it'll be the 3rd time, right? I think that makes me a co-host.
Is this like a
Exactly.
you know what it is?
One.
I'm a co-host. The 3rd time you're a co-host, right?
Keeper 5-5.
You know, SNL gets those green jackets when you're
Yeah,
on
right.
there for 5 times.
Yeah.
Just have a Bourbon and Ballz
Yeah,
jacket.
Bourbon and Ballz jacket.
I think I'm a co-host at that point.
You know what? On
What do you think,
purpose
Whitney?
You got me beat. I mean, this is only my second time on, so I mean, I'm like,
all right.
Yeah, but it's my second time too. But on Tuesday will be my third time. I think that makes me a co-host. Right.
Well, so they're coming to my place on the 13th, so that'd be kind of technical.
Yeah. You got to get a wider camera so you can get 4 people now.
You got to hear the story of the turtleneck. All I'm saying is I'm wearing a turtleneck.
Turtleneck. Yeah, we'll do this off camera. That's an off camera.
Hey, Whitney, I just have one question for you.
What's that?
How does Charlie hit the golf ball?
Oh, Jesus.
Did you see the video?
I mean, he's fire with the golf ball.
Does he hit it?
He explodes them.
Charlie, he crushes it. He crushed that golf ball.
I've never seen anything like it. Whitney, I mean, you were there. You were
like
with
a Happy Gilmore.
Hey,
yeah, just absolutely crushes it.
That was a fantastic video, by the way. That was awesome.
I don't have a lot of forward thinking most of the time, but I told my buddy Wes, of course, Wes just, these guys can tell you, he brings the freaking life. He's just got like the most contagious personality and just, he's such a great dude. But me and him was talking about it. He actually had the ball that has the 22 blank in it that sounds like a rifle going off when he hits it.
Oh, that's funny.
And we started to set that one up, but we had already talked about it, I think, with maybe Charlie or Chad. And I was like, man, I think he's gonna think that something's going on. So I was like, me and Charlie had already talked about like, hey, he's gonna blast this off. He's gonna turn around. What are you gonna say, Charlie?
What was it say? What was it?
When you're
bombshell.
Bombshell. Yeah.
Bombshell. Yes.
Bombshell.
Yes.
You're
Bombshell.
Right.
That was the code word.
That was the
Bombshell
code word.
was the
He
code
was
word.
gonna knock this ball out there and say, it's a bombshell hit, whatever. So I thought, and we hurried up, get there. We set the ball up and went, Charlie, I got it set up for you. It's ready to go. And he hits that joker and it just explodes. And I don't believe I've ever laughed so hard on the golf course.
Oh, wait. I mean, you guys timed that up. The timing was perfect. Everything was like
the ball just
on the first tee. Everybody's watching from the box.
Whatever they're Aquaman.
Hey, the only thing that would have made that moment better is if we had like a camera sitting down at the same angle as the ball, looking up at Charlie and capturing the look on his face.
The look on his face.
He's like, "What happened?
What the hell?"
What happened? He's so stoned. It's so.
And that was my best contact all day.
And you just crushed it, man. You were straight fire.
Oh, it was great. That was such a great.
That was great. Well played, Whit.
Tyler, you got this damn thing set up.
I'll be there next year.
I'm waiting on you.
I'll be there next year.
You guys get to watch a duck race. All right, go ahead, Tyler.
Well, it's a little different than a duck race, but
whatever. Let's just get
all right. Here we go. Sorry, you guys got pulled back into this. You're
Hopefully the winner gets. Hopefully the winner is here and we get a chance at the Gandy's Locks box.
Yeah. All right. Here we go.
Let's right here.
We got everybody in. Correct.
Thank you guys for your contributions and
very much appreciate it.
We got 131 entries.
This is going to be a pogo stick race.
Oh my God!
No.
Seriously?
Go ahead. Run this for like a. All right, go ahead. Run. Shuffle the damn thing too.
Okay. Shuffle 11 times.
No, we're not shuffling fucking 11 times. Jesus.
You said the F word.
Where's fresh? Sorry. 3 times.
Fresh.
Everybody's shuffling.
Right,
yeah. Where's the fresh?
We gotta
Bring
get
it out. Bring it out.
I'll do 5.
Are you serious? We gotta get this show over.
All right. Yeah, I get it.
Is the fresh on the back side of the bottle where you can't see the bottle? I'm just asking.
So
what's that?
So Bill and Whitney, this is the idiotic things that we do to get viewers to stay with us to run a pogo stick contest. This has nothing to do with bourbon.
This is what Charlie does in his off time.
Yeah, he's
trying to figure out how to.
Look at him bouncing.
So the winner is going to get one of your all's bottles. That's how we're going to do it.
Well, when you come to the farm, I've got an American flag Speedo we're going to ask you to wear. We've got one of the Buffalo already in the chute. We're going to see how long you can ride him.
I am not wearing no damn Speedo. Whitney, I'm not wearing a Speedo. You do not want to see me.
Never say never, Charlie.
You know what? I got the camera ready. The camera's ready.
That will be literally next pick on the video.
It's going to be on the barrel pick. Yes. That's what it's going to be.
Yeah. That'll be the 250 pick.
Hey, we can call it Bourbon and Charlie's Balls.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's funny.
All right, we got 5 seconds or 15 seconds left of this stupid ass break.
All right.
Let's see who
How do you win? Holy cow! Who is this?
Whoa! He went off the
He
screen.
must drink everybody's bourbon.
Oh no, he came back.
Oh, he shot his wad too fast.
You're at the
Who won?
finish line.
Let me pull it back up to see who that is.
I can't see it.
Button channel.
Button channel. What the hell's that all about?
I don't know.
Oh my God, we don't even know who freaking
Now,
won.
let me just see.
What the hell?
You gotta give me a second.
All right.
Roll it back. Roll it back.
That is BTM Dave.
Okay, BTM. All right.
That's BTM.
All right.
Do the
replay.
Dave, congratulations.
Congratulations, brother. You get all that. Oh, you get all
Nice,
that junk.
man.
So
coming in.
BTM, not only do you get to pick the bottle of your choice with the 1-year subscription, you also get a chance at the Gandy mailbox.
That's right.
Yeah, so
Dude,
you got the
what
code.
a
So
freaking
guys, just so you guys know, you can take that off the screen. Gandy's mailbox is a little bit of it's almost legendary.
Yes, it is.
So Gandy is a
Long time.
He is synonymous in whiskey too.
Yes.
You go to any kind of whiskey channel, you'll see him there, most likely.
Everybody knows Gandy.
So we had
Everybody
visited,
knows and loves
yes,
Gandy.
Yes.
and there's another gentleman in this chat by the name of Dave Vogelsang, and he too is also in whiskey too. Those two are like
Everybody
almost
knows and loves.
yeah.
Hey.
Those two are. You remind me of the Muppets, the old men that sat in the balcony. That's what those two are.
Yeah.
They're
That
best
is a
friends,
Great
but
analogy.
they nab at each
Yes.
other, right?
Oh yeah.
So anyway, so Dave goes visit.
It's
Gandy.
Statler and Waldorf.
Yes, he goes visit Gandy, and his mailbox has no freaking lid to it. So we have now replicated here on Bourbon and Ballz. There's a mailbox here with no lid to it, and that's Gandy's mailbox. That's how we kind of pay homage to one of our viewers. Anyways, yeah, Gandy is his real name. That's his stripper
That's
name.
funny.
Um,
That's funny.
So, anyways,
We're such
How would you
hillbillies
know?
around here. When you drive down the road, there's a guy that's got a mailbox that sits like 9 foot off the ground, and it says bills on top of it, and that's what's on the side of the mailbox. It says bills, and it's literally 9 foot off the ground. So it's
Oh, wow.
the most classic like mailbox.
Oh, my
It says bills. on the
God.
side.
That's funny.
All right.
that's great.
I've got to go there. Please take me there. That's fantastic.
Is BTM in chat?
I have not seen a response.
Okay, so we won't worry about the hat thing. So we need to move on to anything else. Go ahead and,
That's awesome.
oh, you know what we have? You know what to get ready for?
Hmm?
The raffle.
Which raffle?
We'll do that on Tuesday.
The murder?
No, the Broad Branch.
Broad Branch,
I
yeah.
wasn't. We got so busy, and I
Yeah.
promised everybody. I
Yeah,
tell you what.
we
Here's what I'm
have
gonna
to
do. To the winner of the Broad Branch, I'm gonna throw something else in for Tuesday, just because I'm late on it.
Yeah.
We'll do it Tuesday.
Yeah.
It's a late night.
I mean, don't be taking any of my time away, Charlie. I mean, come on. I mean,
Don't worry, Bill.
we got shit to talk about.
We got bourbon to talk about, Charlie. Damn it! You cutting in
I
on
know. My bad. Yes.
the legs.
I hope Whitney and Bill
there
joins
you
us on
go.
Google Meets. Well,
Well,
that's a whole different animal. So you guys do what
yeah,
you want.
Yeah.
And we did the
All
Google
right.
Meets in the
Choose
hotel
your,
room
baby,
weekend.
your favorite adventure guy.
Post that Google Meets link. Did you do
go
that
ahead and
already?
post that Google Meets link if you don't mind. Tyler.
Yeah, you know, if you guys don't know, I mean, we do a Google Meets after every night,
Yeah.
after every show.
I mean,
It's a
after
live-
now? After now?
After
Oh, yeah,
now.
dude.
Oh, yeah.
They'll stay on until
3 or 4 o'clock in the morning.
But you don't
sometimes.
have to.
You don't-
Like,
yeah.
you can stay on for 2 minutes. You can stay on for however long you want. Right?
That's what she said.
literally-
So, Bill, I
Yeah.
got
So what's cool about it is
I love you, Bill.
what's cool about it is you get to interact with the viewers,
Yeah.
and all
Yeah.
the viewers come in.
Right.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah. You see a lot of people.
How do
in
I
the
do
chat,
that?
like, rather
How do I
than
do
just
that?
seeing the
Click-
names.
Click the link in the chat, and it'll take you right to
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, we just put it in the
So,
chat, and then
There's a link in the chat. How do I? Where's
Yeah,
that link?
I'll send it to both you guys in a text message.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
chat- my
Oh, there it is.
That are
Bourbon and
on.
Balls. There it is, right
I
there.
don't know how to get on.
I can do
Right.
that.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
we're gonna get off this monstrosity of a live stream.
It's been a hell of a show.
It's been a hell of a show. Hopefully, we'll see you guys in Google Meets.
All
Tyler,
right, guys.
Tyler, take us home.
Alrighty. Thank you, guys. Cheers,
you guys.
everybody.
Bill.
Cheers,
Whitney,
guys.
Yes, and all of our followers that stuck along here through this whole process. Amazing.
Appreciate y'all.
All right, Tyler.
Thank
All
you.
right. See you guys.
All right.